laws will have to be imposed, and a world governing body will be created to enforce them.
Welcome to Tinfoil Hat. We go deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the fountain of knowledge. There's lizard people everywhere. That's some interdimensional shit. Wake up, Aaron.
This is only the beginning.
Dude, you just blew my mind. Tinfoil Hat.
Yeah, and welcome to another episode of Tinfoil Hat, brought to you by our good friends at Lucy.co. For long-lasting improved nicotine gun, go to Lucy.co. Joining me, as always, is XG and the place to be.
What's up?
What's up, buddy? Fun weekend, crazy weekend. I want to thank everybody who came out to Nashville for rocking. I want to thank the people who drove into Huntsville that didn't live there. They came to see us in Huntsville. I want to thank everybody in Huntsville who didn't come because you didn't show up. But that's fine. We went to the military industrial complex and we fucking raged against the machine. And that's fine. I'm cool with that. I'm very excited. I want to thank everybody at the Comedy Content Collective for doing all the amazing drawings today. That you can find them all on my Instagram. If I haven't uploaded your guys' particular picture, it will be uploaded to the Instagram. And I just want to say thank you so much for spending time and making a old man feel wanted. Again, a great weekend. We're only growing. Bigger things are coming. And I really got to say thank you to all the listeners. Thank you to all the people watch on YouTube. And if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, just go to youtube.com/Sam Tripoli and subscribe. We're getting closer to 50,000, which is my goal when I started this like 2 years ago. We're really close. And I really appreciate the support. I could never ask for a better group of people to do a show for. I take the responsibility of this show very serious, even when you call me a gay Jew shill or tell me I'm tweaking balls or we lose the picture right there. Doesn't matter. I'm going to go hard in the paint for you guys because you guys go hard in the paint for me. And together we're going to go real hard. Lots of T-shirts are up. If you don't go to Tinfoil Hat podcast.com, let's say that's not working, you go to tinfoilhattshirts.com and you can find all the t-shirts. We're putting up more and more t-shirts every day. We got the Arizona t-shirts, we got Samzilla, we got some Ronin shirts, we got everything for you. There's a shirt for you. Go check it out, support the cause, because I love you guys and it's a great way to help grow the show. Okay? It's a great way to grow the show. The Patreon is rocking. Everybody's loving Conspiracy Nows. That's a show where we just do literally the worst public access show you'll ever see in your life. Joining me last week was my good friend XG, and we had Super Smoke Show.
Smoke Show.
Cassie Jones Casey Jones came down, and then, we had all these ruins people here. Missy's a fucking bag of dynamite. She came down, talked to us about Tartar or whatever that place.
She was an encyclopedia. She knew everything.
I know, dude. They're very knowledgeable. The ruins
people.
is where only truth is allowed to shine. So come down.
You got to know where the basement's at to even get there.
Yeah, you got to know how to get in there.
Fucking
guys,
hidden.
the Reddit is rocking. Go to Tinfoil Hat Show, Tinfoil Hat Podcast. Either of those are great. Go to the Facebook, Tinfoil Hat Podcast. It's on Facebook. Answer the questions because I'm only letting people answer the questions now because we're starting to get people coming in talking mad shit. Stop with the talking of the mad shit. Yeah. I have one on the show who tells me when check out on the show. Was it your best show ever? Even though you're crying about the Armenian genocide, and that episode will be out soon. Okay? But just know that I am here rocking. So go support the show. We got to get these Facebook pages. My personal one, Sam Tripoli. The dojo of Sam or whatever, Sam Tripoli. I got to get these up to 10,000. That way we can start doing some more stuff. Every time you join one of our stuff, it helps the show grow. Be a part of the magic. So that's it. That's the business today. That's the bit. What time are we at here on that? 450. All right.
Damn.
Yeah, how good are we? I'm very excited to have this next gentleman on. He's one of the leading experts in this field. We did this topic very early in the show, and it's time to get back to it. Please welcome. He's got a wonderful YouTube channel he's going to tell us about, and he's here to talk about Gematria. Did I do that? Did I get close? Gematria. Please welcome Zach Hubbard. How are you, Zach?
Doing well. Thanks for having me on. It's good to be here.
Zach, you are probably one of the better looking conspiracy theorists I've ever seen in my life. You look like your parents are out of town and you're just running around your house in your underwear and socks because you're just going to live life to the most and probably bang your hot teacher. Is that who you are?
Well, thanks for the compliment.
No problem, bud. No problem. Thanks for coming on. Can you tell us a little bit about your YouTube channel and what they can find when they go there, my friend?
Sure. So my YouTube channel, it's in its 18th edition. It's been deleted 17 times by Google since June 28, 2017. Ever since I put ads on the channel, they seem to let it exist. So I guess that's what they wanted me to do all this time, was monetize the channel, even though they demonetize every video.
Do you fight the monetization? Do you fight that?
Well, I appeal, but then they'll always just say, sorry, the demonetization is upheld by whatever kind of panel they have or whoever does the review. So,
do you go on BitChute? Go to bitchute.com, BITCHUTE.com. Do you have your videos up there?
I have posted a few videos there. That website is just kind of a struggle, and I notice it doesn't get many views there. So if you're trying to get the word out, it seems like you got to stick with the Google platform because that's where the mind's eye of the masses is.
But we got to send our listeners
I'll probably
there.
continue to post the majority of my work there. But yeah, BitChute, I do post a few videos there. I appreciate that.
TheGabe.com. Listen, if you love YouTube, you love your conspiracy shows, go see it on YouTube. But go to BitChute.com and just support us there because they're trying to kill it off, man. They're trying to kill it off. And we have to really fight the fight, and we have to create an It's like Jurassic Park. They say life will find a way, right? We need to have a venue where we could put out our content without getting seen. And if all the conspiracy people, the super alt left and the super alt right, all go there, we'll have a forum where we could do our truth. Tell us a little about the subject we're going to talk about today and how you got into it.
Sure. So the subject is gematria. That's the proper way to say the word. People who follow me hear me say
that's what I said.
Gematria all the time because that's the way I learned it before I was corrected. Of course, it's a word that almost nobody's ever heard of, so it's easy to mispronounce it. What the subject's about is the ancient practice of coding numbers into words. And it comes from Kabbalah, which is mysticism that dates back to Babylon. There's a text out there, a Kabbalistic text called the Book of Formation. You can pick it up on, your online bookseller website for probably around $5. If you open up that book, you only have to read the first paragraph. It begins, the Book of Formation. God created the world by merging the letter with the number with the word. And I first learned about this knowledge through the author Manly P. Hall. He has a book called The Secret Teachings of All Ages, and it's a very thick book, and he just has a small section on this subject, about a page and a half on this information. But he suggests 2 ciphers to use with the English language, and he says if you experiment, you'll probably find some interesting things. The way I got into this research was my question after September 11th. I was 18 years old when 9/11 happened. My question the day of September 11th was, okay, is there something greater to numbers? Here we're having this national emergency on 911. I started to look into things about September 11th. I noticed that Flight 77, which reportedly hit the Pentagon, I noticed that it took off at 8:20 and it crashed at 9:37. Reading the reports, I was like, Flight 77 hit the Pentagon 77 minutes after taking off.
Whoa.
And then I did some more research, and I noticed Washington, D.C. was on the 77th meridian. And then I noticed the Pentagon, which construction began on September 11th, 1941, the day they broke ground. I noticed the Pentagon's exactly 77 feet tall. And don't be the person out there who does a quick Google search and says, how tall is the Pentagon? They recently changed the height in the quick search to, I think, 71 feet, which is BS. If you read the official report of the Pentagon, it is 77 feet tall.
Holy
so you have this 77
shit.
foot tall. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, holy shit, dude. That's incredible.
It is, right? So I was like, how weird is this? I was like, is there something to numbers that I don't understand? And so I was just looking for meaning for numbers. And I started looking to this about 10 years before I finally found this subject of gematria. And, you know, as soon as I found it, I had to just start looking at things that I was already looking at. So I wrote out September 11th. And going back to Manly P. Hall, he gives two ciphers in this book. He says one is called Simple English Gematria. It's just using the alphabetic order. A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, D is 4, up to Z. The 26th letter is 26. And then the next cipher he says is you just take the alphabetic order, but you use the rules of numerology. So A still 1, B still 2, C still 3. When you get to J, the 10th letter, you just take the numerology of 10, which is 1 plus 0 is 1. K, the 11th letter, would become 1 plus 1 is 2. Up to Z, the 26th letter, would be 2 plus 6 is 8. So you just make each letter a single-digit number. Are you following me?
Barely. Is there a chart that's on the internet? If we Googled it, you could see the chart. Is it? Can you look it up?
Yeah, if you typed in Pythagorean Gematria English.
Spell that. Good luck.
I already found it.
Good luck.
I already found it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, it's right here.
Can we see that real quick up there, Aaron, before you... Wow. Okay, where is it? Let's see it. Turn it around. Let me see this real quick.
So that's the alphabetic order. You'd want the one with the rules of numerology too.
Okay.
So that's the alphabetic order. Then there's one just using, but you can see right there in that simple English gematria, what that's called, they all have a numeric value of 74.
Okay.
Wow. You still want to find the one. So I see it up there on the screen. Well, it was up there a second ago.
Go down a little more. Go down. See, just go down a little. No, there we go. Is it anywhere around there?
All right, hold on. Keep scrolling down for me a little bit.
I love this. What a great technology.
I'm looking for
this
one
is.
where they're all single-digit numbers. Keep coming down.
While you're looking it up, I want to do a quick read on something. Hey, guys, just wanted to let you know about the new and improved nicotine gum from a company called Lucy.
There, right there. There you go.
If you're looking for a boost of nicotine that you can enjoy anywhere, check out the powerful, long-lasting flavors of Lucy gum available at lucy.co. The product was designed by a team of scientists from Harvard, Stanford, Caltech who were trying to quit smoking. The only thing they could find were pharmaceutical nicotine gum that taste and look like medicine. They decided to redesign the product to contain only nicotine, gum base, and food ingredients with a superior flavor, texture, and boost better than anything else in the market. If you smoke, you vape, or chew, you should consider making the switch to Lucy. Not only does the product give you the nicotine with great flavor, but you can literally use the product anywhere you can choose gum. In the office, when you're traveling, Uber, Subway, even around people who you normally would normally judge you, like chicks you're hooking up with, okay? You know who doesn't like Lucy gum? Lizard people, all right? If you hate lizard people and you wash them, you're not taking their stuff, go to lucy.co. Oh, that's lucy.co, okay? And use the promo code tinfoil at checkout to get 10% off your first purchase, and we thank Lucy for that. So we find it?
Yeah, we found it.
All right, let's look at this. Give me this. Break this down for me because I'm super. This stuff is amazing. This lets me think more and more we are in a matrix. Okay, the English, American letter values.
So this is just using the alphabetic order and rules of numerology. So A through I is 1 through 9, but then when you get to J, it's the 10th letter. You take the numerology of 10, which is 1 plus 0 was 1. K, the 11th letter, 1 plus 1 is 2. L, the 12th letter, 1 plus 2 is 3, so on. You're just making each letter a single-digit number. So if you take this cipher and you write out September 11th as words, it sums to 77, just like how you have this big 77 ritual at the Pentagon, just like how Pentagon construction began September 11th, 1941.
Holy shit.
If you write out World Trade Center, guess what it sums to? 77.
Holy, Oh my God.
If you look up a story from a few years ago, there was a story that was it was a top headline for a day. Supposedly, a young girl at a sorority whose father died as a firefighter at 9/11 when the towers collapsed. They said she died in a pancake eating contest. And think about how they say the theory of the collapse is the pancake theory. If you write out pancake eating contest with the cipher, it sums to 77. So that story was making fun of us.
Oh my God.
Right. Hey, if you
Really?
use this same cipher just on
77.
a slightly related topic, if you write out tinfoil hat.
Don't do that,
Don't-
dude. You're going to get them coming after me, dude. You're going to get them coming after me. What? Tinfoil hat equals,
What?
are you saying 77?
No. If you write out
Okay.
tinfoil hat, it sums to 51. If you write out conspiracy in that cipher, it sums to 51.
Oh shit.
And when I think of 51 in conspiracy, it makes me think of Area 51.
oh shit. That's what I was thinking. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Oh, man. This is nuts. This is
Yeah,
nuts.
there's another cipher too where you just flip the alphabetic order around and use the rules of numerology. And tinfoil hat and conspiracy both sum to 57 in that cipher. And Moon has that gematria of 51 and 57. Some people say they filmed the moon landing at Area 51, so something to think about.
Everything just comes together. That's what I'm learning with this show. It all seems like you have all these wild conspiracies all over the place. They all just come together.
Circle.
It's all connected, dude. Wow. That's crazy, dude. Wow. So you think
Sure.
everything is scripted? Is that what you're telling me? Like, this makes me
Well,
think
not
it's all as...
everything, but a lot of what comes through the news and media and world of sports is absolutely scripted. You want me to talk about your Dodgers for a moment?
Ooh,
Dude.
don't do it. No, look at him. Don't do it.
Okay. All right. I'm not afraid of truth. See, people, I go into the eye of the beast. You're going to tell me the whole thing's rigged? Let me hear it, because we have Aaron who believes fucking nothing. Okay.
Hey, no, he believed the last episode.
Okay, that hasn't been out yet. The episode
No,
that has
you're
not
right.
been out yet, he questions my performance that. He doesn't believe any of it. He's a Cardinals fan. Talk to me, Zach, about my Dodgers.
So last year, you had the Dodgers in the World Series again.
Yeah.
And in
Okay.
July, we had the Dodgers pegged for the World Series last year because it was the earliest start in the history of baseball. It started on the 88th day of the year. The Dodgers haven't won the World Series since 88. It began March 29th. The last time the Dodgers were in the World Series, they won it on the 293rd day of the year. March 29th can be written 29/3. So we had the Dodgers pegged, but we were looking for the AL team. In the middle of July, I made the observation that if we got a Dodgers and Red Sox World Series, because we already had the Super Bowl pegged for Patriots and Rams around that same time, and I'll tell you how all this comes together. But I made the observation. I said, look at the dates of the World Series. I said, if the Red Sox go to the World Series and they win in Game 5, they'll win it 4-1, and they'll win it exactly 99 days before the Super Bowl, which will conclude the 99th NFL season. And that's exactly what ended up happening. Now,
Shut up.
so check this out. I also said Chris Sale would. I thought Chris Sale would start that game, but instead he ended up closing it out. Chris Sale wears the number 41. The Red Sox won the World Series 4-1. So here's the deal with 41. 4-1 is like 41. In gematria, if that cipher that was just up, if you write out Super Bowl, it equals 41. So we knew Tom Brady was going to win the scripted Super Bowl at age 41, as he did. And if you take the alphabetic order and just flip it around, LA equals 41. So you have this, LA World Series ritual with the Boston area team, and then you get the Super Bowl with the Boston and LA teams. So anyway, check this out. 99 days from Game 5 to the conclusion of the 99th NFL season's the Super Bowl, right?
Right.
And that was Super Bowl 53. If you follow the NFL, you know 53 is a big number in the NFL. There's
Why?
a 53-man roster. There's a 53-yard wide field. Why is this? It's because of the shape of the football. In sacred geometry, that shape is known as the Vesica Piscis. And that same cipher that you just had up, if you write out Vesica Piscis, it sums to 53, right?
I'm going to take your word
yeah.
for it.
Okay, well, it does. So this is why 53 is so significant to the NFL. If you write out Patriots and you write out Los Angeles and you just run the alphabetic order in reverse, it equals 53 for both. 53, 53. 53 is the 16th prime number. The 16th prime number. That's why you got this Super Bowl score with just 16 points in Super Bowl 53. Okay? And if you go look at the NBA scores that day, the Boston Celtics played Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City in gematria sums to 133, like 13-3. The whole world of sports is this super scripted.
Shut up. Dude.
Oh, it is.
You're telling me it's the
Look at this.
WWE?
When the Patriots were coming into the NFL season, they had 523 franchise wins before the season began. That's the 99th prime number, right? The 99th prime.
Yeah.
99th NFL season. The only other connection like that with 523 and 99 was with Aaron Donald of the Los Angeles Rams. Aaron Donald, if you look it up, his birthday is May 23rd, 523. He wears the number what? He wears the number 99. Aaron Donald with the alphabetic order equals 99. And your mind would be blown if you just went through the world of sports and you saw how many players had the birthday that's perfect with the name. It'll blow your mind. It's like these guys are Manchurians being born and bred for their eventual professional sports career.
What do you think that is, dude? I mean, can they be controlling everything, or is it just the simulation that if certain things just naturally play out like that? So
I think the answer is it's a little bit of both. If you watch Ken Burns' documentary on baseball, everybody who has Netflix can watch this. In the beginning, they have a quote from Spalding, who has his name all over the balls, and he talks about how the early days of professional baseball, the word was conspiracy. Everything was rigged and scripted to create excitement, entertainment, narratives to make people want to watch and follow these games. So if they were doing this in the 1800s, why wouldn't they be doing it now? Plus, I mean, they've been doing it for over a century, so now it's a whole lot more sophisticated.
Do you think
when
MK
you start
Ultra?
to map out each year, college and pro, just how on point these scripts are, it'll blow your mind. There's a million things I could tell you about the Super Bowl, but it's things like this. So, again, just real quick with Aaron Donald. His birthday is May 23rd. 523 is the 99th prime. Aaron Donald equals 99. He wears the number 99. He ended his holdout 99 days after his birthday. Remember how he had the big long holdout?
Yeah.
So 99 days after his birthday. So we were talking about all these things before the season. We're saying, this is looking like Patriots and Rams again because it's the Patriots' 59th season this past year that they won. That's the 17th prime number. They played the Rams 17 years earlier in the Super Bowl. The Rams lost that Super Bowl with 17 points, and then they meet again 17 years later. So you start to just look at the history of sports. You see how it's scripted year after year after year. The Super Bowl this year was in Mercedes-Benz Stadium, which in gematria equals 307. That was Tom Brady's 307th career game in that building in the Super Bowl.
Shut up.
I'm not joking, man. It's like this every year. 307 is the 63rd prime number, the 63rd prime. He became 6-3 in Super Bowls. And there's just so much more to it, man. It would blow your mind how many things are lined up. Julian Edelman with the MVP. If you write out most valuable player, it's 108. It was 108 days from his birthday. It would just blow your mind. Okay, so go back and look at things like this. Coming back to the World Series thing.
Yeah.
Go back and watch the replay. I've been explaining this for years. People can't get their mind around it until they keep just witnessing it year after year. I explained that everything in football is scripted, from the final score to the box score to what happens on the hash marks of the field.
Right.
When the Patriots put that game away, it was with a field goal. And if you go back and look, it was a 41-yard field goal. 41. Again, Super Bowl equals 41. Tom Brady was 41. LA equals 41. 41's the 13th prime number. NFL equals 13. So a 41-yard field goal puts the Super Bowl away, giving the Patriots 13 points to finish off LA. By the way, like I said, LA's 41. We flip the alphabetic order around. If you just use the alphabetic order, LA's 13. L's 12 plus A is 1, 13. So perfectly scripted. Go back and look at the Rams' only points. It was a 53-yard field goal in Super Bowl 53. Worse yet, the only touchdown of the game was by Sony Michel, number 26, who helped the AFC get its 26th Super Bowl. And if you go back and look, Sony Michel scored the only touchdown of Super Bowl 53 at exactly the 53rd minute of the game. I mean,
Shut
right on the
up,
nose.
dude. Shut up.
Yeah, go back and look. It's all, you can verify all of
my
it. Exactly
God.
at the 3rd minute of the game.
Wait up.
And not only that, but from Sony Michel's birthday, which is Michael Jordan's birthday, you know, Brady and Jordan now both with 6 championships. Sony Michel has Jordan's birthday, February 17th. From his last birthday to the Super Bowl was 351 days. What is that? If you add 1 through 26 together, it equals 351. He wears the number 26. He gets the AFC. It's only Super Bowl 26, or it's 26 Super Bowl, excuse me. It's the same thing year after year. Last year, Super Bowl 52. I said after week 3 why the Super Bowl would be the Patriots and the Eagles. And how did we do that? Again, Donald Trump, who's nothing but a puppet, he came out on September 23rd. And he said, you know, he shamed the NFL players. I forget exactly what he said, but it was the day he took on the protests of the flag, September 23rd. And that was a Saturday. It was one day before the week 3 games. That date's written 23/9 in the majority of the world, like 239. That's the 52nd prime number, okay? It's the year of Super Bowl 52. Now, if you know your history,
Oh, my God.
you know the flag was sewn in Philly at the address 239 Arch Street, okay? So I already knew the Patriots were in the Super Bowl based on the riddles that concluded Super Bowl 51. And we can go back to that too. But people who follow me, we already had the Patriots. We were looking for the NFC team. And I said, this is it. It's the year of the flag and the protest. You got the Patriots with the flag on the helmet. Now they're going to face the Eagles, the home of the flag, Philadelphia. And if you go to the flag's birthday, which is June 14th, that's also Donald Trump's birthday, June 14th. From June 14th to the day that he took on the protest, September 23rd, that was 101 days later. And I said, just watch. The Eagles are going to start this season 10-1, bank on it. And they did. And now check this out. Philadelphia, you just write it out with the alphabetic order. Philadelphia equals 101. 101's the 26 prime. Flag equals 26. And every year when you follow the news and the sports stories, you see that the riddles are scripted this tight. And, you know, the winning touchdown for that game in the Eagles game was caught by Zachary, number 86. If you go back and look, from his birthday to the Super Bowl was 86 days. Why does that matter? Because the national anthem was adopted 86 years before that season.
Oh,
that
my God. Come on. That's, oh, my. Dude, this makes, dude, if there's ever a notion that we live in a simulation, it's this.
Okay, but all I hear is American sports. How about some UFC? Does that shit happen in the UFC?
Absolutely.
Well, how about with
Absolutely.
Conor or some Khabib shit?
Yeah, Nate Diaz beating Conor McGregor. You remember when Conor McGregor knocked out Jose Aldo in 13 seconds?
Yeah.
Yep.
You remember that?
Yeah,
Guess
yeah,
what
yeah.
name Jose equals?
13.
It sure does.
Oh,
Fucking
my
MS-13
God.
somehow.
There's a
And
lot
I know
more
that's
to it.
gotten linked up with MS-13 somehow.
There's a whole lot more to it too, man.
Oh, my
But yeah, a lot
God.
of these main events in UFC are absolutely scripted. I mean, these guys take a beating for the money, but the fight's fixed. So I'm not going to say that every UFC fight's fixed, but a lot of these main events are. Conor McGregor's career was. I could tell you all sorts of stuff about Conor McGregor. I'd have to pull up my notes, man. But
dude,
every fight he's been involved in, all these arrests, they're all perfect rituals, man. And I mean, you can go to my channel later and check it out. I have some videos still up on Conor McGregor.
Can you find any notes on that, dude? I want to hear this stuff. I mean, you have blown my mind. Do you have the notes with you?
Hold up. Give me 1 second here and let me pull up the most recent work on
Okay.
Conor McGregor.
Why you do
If
that?
you got something you want to plug real quick.
Oh, okay. If you want me to do a plug, listen. Zach wants me to do a fucking plug. I'm sure whatever minute it's at, whatever my birthday is, wherever, because I'm a Scorpio, I'm supposed to do this fucking read, and that's why I'm going to do this awesome read for our good friends at Duke Cannon. That's right. Can a bar of soap be patriotic? That's a lot to ask. If it's just a bar of soap, after all, it doesn't get out. Where did we lose him? Okay, no. It doesn't get out a little flag and wave it around, but consider this. Duke Cannon's superior quality grooming goods for hardworking men are tested by soldiers, not by boy bands. Screw you, NSYNC. They partner with active duty military development to develop new ideas and review products. Anything that doesn't meet the high standards of our soldiers doesn't happen. Most importantly, Duke Cannon is committed to give back to the men and women who serve our country. That's why a portion of the proceeds directly support veteran causes. So when you're using Duke Cannon's big ass bar soap, which I have and I love, my butthole is patriotic. I wash it all the time with that big ass bar soap because I do. Okay. Or premium hair goods that give you the news anchor thick hair. I'm looking at you, Ben Swan. Or beard and shaving goods that help you put your best face forward. Don't be surprised if you start humming the national anthem. Visit DukeCannon.com right now and get 15% off your first order with the promo code SAM, S-A-M. Free shipping on orders over $35. I use this bar soap. I wash all myself. I am furry. I get into crevices, and I'm talking about that dirty area, and I clean myself up nice, okay? And I do it with my good friends at Duke Cannon, okay? I clean my Armenian.
You gotta clean everything.
Hey. My Armenian hole needs its cleaning, and it takes a bar of soap that's good enough for the troops to get in there.
Those 7-Eleven sandwiches don't do any justice.
I just listen to my butthole sing, Whistle Dixie. Back to the show. I'm very excited. Zach, what do you got for us?
I'm gonna have to check out some of that soap, man.
Dude, see? That pushes
Conor
product.
McGregor, he was just arrested March 11th, okay? And
Okay.
that date in the majority of the world's written 11/3, like 113. This is a number I've talked about with Conor McGregor's entire career. It's because his full name, Conor Anthony McGregor, equals 113. So he gets arrested on this date, supposedly in the headlines, 11/3. The story was somebody was taking photos of him, and he roughed up this person and broke their phone. So 113 is a very special number. Man, I almost felt like I should go on a segue here for a second about 113.
Go,
you guys
do
mind
it.
if I go on a little tangent about 113 before I come back to this Conor McGregor
Dude.
thing?
I feel like
Do
he's a
whatever-
gang member. Can
Yeah.
I do 113, dog? Can I do that 113?
113 up in this motherfucker. Yeah, dude,
Okay,
do
so I'll
whatever
do
you
this real
want.
quick. So today's the anniversary of Lincoln's assassination, the Titanic sinking, the Boston Marathon bombing, and now today the burning of Notre Dame.
Today.
And a few weeks ago, you had on a really interesting guest who talked about the sinking of the Titanic, and I was like, man, if only this guy knew Gematria, he could take it to the next level.
Take it to the next level, dude.
Your guys' subject on that was the sinking of the Titanic and how 3 of the world's richest men who opposed the Federal Reserve died in that accident. So check this out. And again, we're going to learn something about the number 113 right here. So the Titanic fully submerged April 15th, 1912. And just for a little backstory, a lot of people don't know this. There's a book out there called Futility, Wreck of the Titan, which came out in the late 1800s. It's about the largest ship ever sailing and sinking the first time it set sail from Europe to New York after hitting an iceberg. The name of the boat is the Titan. This is the exact same story as the Titanic.
Boom!
It was more than a decade before it happened.
Boom, dude. Boom.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about, dude. It was all scripted. Are you telling me a boat didn't see an iceberg coming? Come on,
Right.
man. Come
Exactly.
on.
So this was all written about in a book called Futility, Wreck of the Titan. The author's name is Morgan Robertson. The Morgan part's interesting because it was Mr. Morgan who had the rights to the Titanic and the sister ships. So anyway, a lot of people say it was really the Olympic and it was insurance fraud, which is entirely possible. But here's the point. It was all written about in a book. And from the day that the Titanic submerged, April 15th, 1912, to the date that the Federal Reserve was established, December 23rd, 1913, that's 617 days later. And why does that matter?
Why?
That's the 113th prime number. And 113 is a very special number
Oh,
that
my
comes from a
God.
certain text. There's a book called the Talmud,
Yes.
and in that text, there's a passage. It's Baba Kama 113a that says it's okay for somebody who's Jewish to lie to somebody who is not Jewish as long as it's within a legal setting. And what's so interesting about that is there's just such a long list of words that have to do with dishonesty that sum to 113. Dishonest, not true, not factual, fiction, bullshit, perjury, infidelity, divorce, and even more. They all sum to 113. All of these words that have to do with lying, 113. Here's another one that sums to 113. Titanic. 113.
What?
So, again,
Come on, dude.
Titanic sank, which killed 3 of the world's richest men who were all fighting the establishment of this central bank, the Federal Reserve, to the date it was established was 617 days later, which is the 113th prime. Now, another thing that sums to 113
It's perjury, dishonest, not true. It's all right there.
Scottish.
What is that?
As the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, which is all powerful and which has their symbolism all over the dollar bill.
Oh
So-
my God.
Yeah. Also, just on the subject of gematria, in light of that book being called Futility, futility equals 49, so does iceberg. Scottish is also 49. So a few more 49s. Washington's 49. You know, Washington, D.C. is named after the Scottish Rite Freemason George Washington. The Scottish Rite has their headquarters right there in Washington, D.C. By the way, America equals 49. So anyway, these are special numbers, and the Titanic and its sinking was definitely a planned event, just like today's burning of Notre Dame is a planned event, which we could talk about later if you want. There's just so many things to cover.
Yes.
But again, we got off topic. You guys wanted to know about Conor McGregor, so I just had to get some knowledge about 113.
Okay.
So again, Conor Anthony McGregor, 113. And we were just talking about how he knocked out Jose in 13 seconds on a scorecard that's round 1, 13 seconds. So 113, the knockout of Jose. Again, Scottish is 113. The Scottish Rite of Freemasonry has so much influence in the world of sports. Case in point, American baseball is credited to the Scottish Rite Freemason Abner Doubleday. Doubleday equals 154. The baseball season used to be 154 games. Baseball happens to sum to 162. Now it's 162 games. American football credited to the Scottish Rite Freemason Walter Camp. Naismith, also a Mason. So anyway, Freemasonry.
Naismith was a Mason.
What's that?
Naismith was a Mason?
Absolutely.
Oh my God.
Most names you know, man, are Masons. You know, like they say, the victors write the history books, and it's not hard to see who's been winning.
All right, okay, are the Masons good guys or bad guys?
Well, it's not like all. I mean, there's. So it seems like the Masons who run the show, I would say, are a bunch of dishonest assholes that are doing things like today, setting landmarks on fire and blaming it on an attic fire accident. So that they're very much ritualistic at the top, but I don't want to say that all Masons are bad people. I mean, there's Masons in these lower lodges that have just joined because they want some community and to have a few drinks after work or whatever. So you can't just brush it with a stroke and say they're all good or bad, but I would say Masonry at the top is pretty sinister.
So we're saying, like, with every group, you can't judge all them. It's like usually the elites of the group are the shady fucks, and the bottom ones have to fight amongst all the others because to defend the honor, while the people at the top get shady as fuck.
Absolutely.
And we're talking about the elite, right? We're talking about the elite. Does this happen in golf? Talking about Tiger Woods just winning. Did you know that was going to happen for sure?
My followers on Patreon, I have a big following on Patreon because a lot of sports gamblers follow me. I told people Tiger was definitely going to win it. I wrote about a year ago why Tiger would win the Masters this year. It was a done deal. It was probably the easiest riddle I've ever decoded in the world of sports, Tiger Woods winning the Masters yesterday. Couldn't have been any easier. And just real quick, I'll just tell you this real quick. So Tiger first won it in 97. That's 22 years ago. And the last time he won a major was 11 years ago. Okay, 22 and 11. Now, what are those? Those are the master numbers in numerology. There's only 2 master numbers. 11's the master number. 22's the master builder number. So are you telling me that Tiger's not going to win the Masters, the greatest golfer there ever was, 22 years after his first and 11 years after his last major? It was a
Shut up.
Yep. So then
Shut up.
you take the gematria. Golf equals 22. Woods equals 22. master equals 22.
And he's got to win.
And it's actually really sick, man. It's actually really sick what goes on with these rituals. I put out a free video last Sunday to give people a taste of what's up. Last Sunday, did you guys hear about the young golfer who supposedly died of natural causes in his sleep at his hotel at the tournament? Ari Irawan, you hear about this?
No.
Okay, so April 7th, you had a golfer die, Ari Irawan. They said he died of natural causes while sleeping at age 28. And it's like, wow, natural causes, huh? 28 years old? So what I pointed out is the name Ari Irawan equals 54, just like Tiger Woods equals 54, just like how his caddy wears number 54. And this year, the Masters began April 11th, 2019, which is a date with 54 numerology. 4 plus 11 plus 20 plus 19, 54. And Ari Irawan, the day he died, that was Tiger Woods' 99th day of his age. So he died on Tiger's 99th day of his age. Now, why does that matter? Ari Irawan, if you use the alphabetic order, like how we started at the beginning, just using the alphabetic order, Ari Irawan's 99. If you use the alphabetic order in rules of numerology, it's 54, just like Tiger Woods. And what else sums to 99 if you use the alphabetic order is green jacket. So you have this murder ritual, and understand this goes on in all of the world.
Hold on, stop. You just said murder ritual. What are you inferring?
So again, all right, here, case in point. This was the 83rd Masters. A song came out in 1983 by the band The Police. Okay. And that song's called Murder by Numbers. It's about how killing people is as simple as ABC 1, 2, 3, just like this code. And it's about how killing people's the sport of the elite, and it's the way to the top of your profession. So the word murder happens to equal 83. If you look up the movie poster for the film with that same title, Murder by Numbers, you'll notice that only 2 letters are changed in the movie poster. The E is changed to a 3, and the B is changed to an 8. So you got the 3 and 8, 8 and 3. Murder sums to 38 and 83. So anyway, you have this 83rd Masters. You get this guy who's killed the weekend before the Masters, and the name of the tournament that he was at in Gematria also sums to 83. So anyway, this goes on all the time in the world of sports. Part of the way that I call sports championships, as sick as it is by the ritualistic deaths that happen year after year. And I always saw the Tiger dude. But then when I saw that death the weekend before, I said, just look at this. I mean, there can't be any more doubt about it, you know.
Why was he killed, do you think?
Natural causes. So that's what it says
here.
But
why?
I know. It's 28.
Why?
How did that happen?
Why?
I'm telling you, the people who run this world are sick. Listen to that song, Murder by Numbers. Anybody out there, you know, when you're done with this show, just go look up that song by The Police, Murder by Numbers. Listen to the lyrics. Read the words. It's no doubt a reference to this exact research. And I ask why, too. Why does this need to be done? Why do people need to be ritualistically murdered? But I can ask why all day. Why do you have to knock down towers in New York to start a war that nobody needs? Why do you need to burn down a cathedral today? You know, I could go on all day with the why. I just say, you know, the people who run the world are psychopaths. We all know the John Lennon quote about, you know, this world's run by insane people for insane purposes. And so, you know, I don't try to answer why. I just recognize these people are evil. You know, some people would say
take him out. Who would take this golfer out? Is it for allegedly for Tiger to win? Is that what it's done for?
Exactly. Yeah, that is what it's done for.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah. That's
he
what
looked young.
For,
if you look at him,
it's
he
not
looks
just
young.
Tiger. This goes on all the time with sports. I mean, this isn't some isolated event. If you pay attention to sports and championships and the deaths that happen around the time of the championships, it's clockwork. It's absolute clockwork. It's not just sports championships either. It's so many things. It's award ceremonies. There's something I kind of want to tell you about, but I think it might break your heart. It has to do with the tattoo on your wrist, but
yeah, dude. I don't know if I'm ready for that, dude.
Yeah, exactly, man. So
privately, we could talk about it privately.
Sure.
What are you
So,
what are you saying, dude? Okay.
Well, I could tell you all about it, man. I got a slide up here in case you want to talk about it. But here, let's go to something else before that, just to give you another example. I once predicted the death of Prince. I said Prince's death is right around the corner, right after Vanity died, his girlfriend from the time of Purple Rain. If you go back and remember, Vanity died February 15th, 2016, the day of the 58th Grammys. And I showed that day, Purple Rain equals 58. So does Freemasonry. So does Rosicrucian. So does Secret Society. Very special number. So many Masonic rituals are performed around this number. Today happens to be a date with 58 numerology, and you got this Masonic ritual with the burning of the cathedral. But anyway, when Vanity died, they'll code all these things in the headline, the cause of death, all this stuff. And two numbers that were jumping out were 67 and 118. Death connects to 118. Blood sacrifice connects to 67. So I said, just watch. Prince is going to die real soon. If I was Prince, I'd watch my ass. And when we read about his deaths, you're going to see the numbers 67 and 118 front and center. So sure enough, Prince dies 67 days from Vanity. He dies April 21st, 2016. And why is that funny? Because on Purple Rain, he has the song, I Would Die For You. And it was like he was seeing into the future because he wrote the title with the number 4 and the letter U. And nobody was doing that in 1983. By the way, that's the year he recorded that, 83, the same year Murder by Numbers came out. But the thing about writing the title with the 4 and the U is use the 21st letter. So he said, I would die 421. That's the name of his song. And what day did he die? He died 421. April 21st.
Shut up. Are you?
What
do you think?
Coincidence. That's what people are going to tell you. I
Are
guarantee
you
you. No,
buying
I don't,
this?
but I guarantee you that's just what we're going to
Aaron
get.
thought
Aaron's
like
like coincidence.
amazing.
Yeah.
It's going to be amazing.
Just wait.
Dude.
I got to laugh. I watched your episode with Alex Jones, and I saw Aaron's comment about the number 23. I was like, oh, man, I can't wait till he has me on. But,
Well, that was me. That was me,
God,
actually. The number
dude.
23. Yeah. Well, what's up with the number 23 in that movie?
Oh, man.
So check this out, though. Then they came out and said Prince died in an elevator. Elevator has that gematria of 118 like death, and that's just another number that follows celebrities around just again and again. So it's really repetitive patterns when you learn what to look for, and the numbers are a language themselves. I sent you a free copy of my book. If you know, that book's massive. It's about 800 pages long.
My God.
Ooh.
Oh my God, dude. This is incredible.
The longest chapter in that book is called Murder by Numbers, and I talk about so many things in there. It starts with the death of Brandon Lee and Bruce Lee. A lot of people don't realize that Bruce Lee died during the making of the film Game of Death. And in that film, he plays a Hollywood actor who's a martial arts expert. So essentially, he plays a character just like himself. And in the scene, there's a guy who wants to kill him. So he loads a real bullet into a gun that's supposed to be a prop, and he shoots Bruce Lee's character.
Yep.
And then Bruce Lee actually died during the filming of that movie, and then everybody knows how his son died.
That's exactly how his son died.
Right. So it's like, how are you supposed to look at that and be like, okay, that's a coincidence? I mean, please, give me a break.
Man, this is insane, dude.
By the way, death, murder, killing, R.I.P., they all sum to 38. So does The Crow, like the movie he was in. And I could tell you so many things, man. It's just on the anniversary of his death, we've seen Selena die on that day. This year it was Nipsey Hussle.
Ooh.
And you're a comedian, so I should tell you this. Well, what's Nipsey Hussle make you think of, Sam?
What would Nipsey Russell?
Exactly, Nipsey Russell, right? So check this out.
Oh no.
Yeah, check this out, man. This is messed up. So, Nipsey Hussle. If you go back to, I have a video from March 21st. Anybody can look this up. A rapper died on the 74th day of the year on the 7400 block. His name was Lil Mister. He was part of Gangster Disciples in Chicago. GD. G's the 7th letter, D the 4th. GD 74, dead on the 74th day of the year on the 7400 block. And for years, and it's covered in my book, I talk about the killing of rappers in 74. Tupac equals 74, Machiavelli 74, Cross 74, whole lot of things. Rapper 74, Gematria 74, English 74, Killing 74. There's a song out there called Gematria, the Killing Name. Anyway, at the end of that video from March 21st, I say, just watch. I'm going to be back here in no time flat talking about the death of another rapper in 74. It ended up being March 25th. You had the death of the battle rapper Tech Nine, not to be confused with the more famous Tech Nine out of Philadelphia. His name, 74. His name was Mickens 74. So then, on March 31st, we get the death of Nipsey. And what's Nipsey equal in Gematria? Of course, 74. Now, here's what's messed up. From the death of Nipsey Russell to the death of Nipsey Hussle was exactly 704 weeks on the nose. 704, like 74. And what's more messed up is Nipsey Hussle died on the 90th day of the year. Nipsey Russell died on the day leaving 90 days left in the year. And what's a trip is with those two ciphers that we looked at the beginning of this show, if you write out 90 as a word with the alphabetic order, it sums to 87. Nipsey Russell died at age 87. If you write out 90 with the alphabetic order and rules of numerology, it sums to 33. Nipsey Hussle died at age 33. And, of course, he's also married to Lauren London. He died on the day, the anniversary of the film ATL, which released on that day in history, and a whole lot of other things, man. If you go back and look, his body was loaded into the ambulance with the number 57. At the beginning of this show, I told you how conspiracy equals 5157, tinfoil hat is 5157. His store name, The Marathon, equals 5157. His best-selling album, which soared in the charts after he died, Victory Lap Marathon, that equals 5157. If you write out April Fools, it equals 5157. And the history of April Fools jokes is setting it up before April 1st and then letting everybody know the punchline on April 1st. And the punchline for us was that the supposed killer was named Eric Holder, who's the Attorney General to Obama, and his street name was supposedly Shitty Cuts. And there's a whole lot more to this. There's so many roads to go down, but anybody who's seen the supposed footage of the death scene of Nipsey Hussle, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. There's no blood there. One guy's twisting his legs while another guy's giving him CPR. The body moves around as if there's no weight to it. So I'm not even sure that this dude's really dead, to be perfectly honest. And I can tell you a million more things, but I just realized that a lot of these deaths, they bring big sales. So all sorts of people make money. Anytime somebody dies in the world of entertainment, a lot of money flows in the direction of those people. But anyway, I just wanted to know a few more things. So
okay, so did we already go over contrived news, false flag shootings, and terrorist attacks? Have you already done that?
Well, here, let's talk about it. So right now, big topic, Sandy Hook. Alex Jones is having to do the deposition. You got a lot of fighting in the truth community about is Sandy Hook legit? I heard Joe Rogan use the term schizophrenic to describe people who question the authenticity of Sandy Hook. Here's what always stood out to me. If you go back and look at Sandy Hook, every news source, and I mean every news source, was sure to report multiple times that the shooter, Adam Lanza, weighed 112 pounds. And when Sandy Hook happened was the same time that I finally cracked the code on this letters and numbers thing. I was trying to figure it out with numbers from the time of 9/11 until Sandy Hook, and it was after Sandy Hook with all the reporting of 112 that I finally figured it out. I was like, there's something up with this. Why do they continue to say that Adam Lanza weighs 112 pounds as if that's some important detail? And anybody can do a search right now. Just type in Adam Lanza 112 pounds. A million articles are going to come up from every mainstream publication. So if you write out Sandy Hook with the alphabetic order, S is the 19th letter, A is the first, so on, Sandy Hook equals 112. And if you look up Adam Lanza's birthday, April 22nd, that's his birthday. That's the 112th day of the year.
Man. I got to go through it and look. Oh, my God.
The only death certificate ever put out for one of the children is Noah Posner. Of course, his father, Lenny Posner, is the guy he's the reason my first channel got deleted. Anyway, The only death certificate ever put out is for his child. And his child's birthday is November 20th, which is written 11/20. So it's like, another 112. But the bigger thing with 112, okay. First of all, 112 is the most common emergency dialing code in the world. So it's kind of like 911. If you dial 112 in your phone right now, you'll be connected to 911. It's also the emergency dialing code here. Same thing as 911.
What is it again? One more time.
The bigger thing with the 112 is the Dune Blame Massacre. This was the shooting of first graders in the United Kingdom that got gun rights taken away from their citizens. That shooting happened March 13th, 96. 3 plus 13 plus 96 equals 112. So that was a major shooting of first graders, just like Sandy Hook, that got gun rights taken away. And of course, there's been a lot more noise to legislate against who can own guns ever since Sandy Hook happened.
Oh my God.
So 112. And the other thing about Sandy Hook is, are you aware of the riddle with the Batman movie that year?
Yes.
Right. So Batman, at the premiere of the Batman shooting.
Look that up. Batman, Sandy Hook.
Yeah. So at the Batman Aurora Theater shooting, in that film, for the first time ever in Gotham City, there was a sign in the sky that said Aurora. And then you get this shooting at Aurora Theater the night of the Batman premiere.
Shut up.
Also,
Batman,
for the first
Aurora.
time ever, there was a toy map sold with that Batman movie. And there's always been a map of Gotham City that you can buy. There's all sorts of collector's items. Anyone can verify this. On the Gotham map, there was always a neighborhood called South Hinckley. And for the first time ever, they changed the name of that neighborhood to Sandy Hook. So, you have Aurora featured in the film. You have Sandy Hook featured in the film. Ever since one of the school shootings that happened right after Sandy Hook was in Sparks, Arizona, and they said the teacher who was killed was the hero, and almost every day he dressed up as Batman. I was like, oh, really? And then since then you've had the shooting of there was a little boy called Little Jacob. I forget what town he was from. New something. It wasn't Newtown. It was New some other town. And supposedly they buried him in his Batman outfit. But anyway, from the Aurora Theater shooting to the Sandy Hook school shooting was 147 days later. And when you turn the alphabetic order around, Freemason equals 147. So does conspiracy, very special number to these people. Police, in a cipher known as Jewish gematria, equals 147. Police worldwide are mostly in the Fraternal Order of Police, which is a Masonic organization. Their symbol is a Masonic handshake with an all-seeing eye. Anyhow, the shooter at Batman, his name was James Egan Holmes, which equals 58. The Sandy Hook shooting was on a date with 58 numerology. Again, Freemasonry equals 58. So does Rosicrucian. So does Secret Society. The other major school shooting in that year was actually earlier in the year, February 27th, the 58th day of the year. And I thought it was funny that Alex and Joe Rogan got together on February 27th this year, the 58th day of the year, and began talking about Sandy Hook and kind of demonizing the people who questioned the events of that shooting. Because even outside of the numbers, what everyone should ask is, why did the media apologize the day after the shooting for scaring everybody the day before while showing footage of a drill? All of the news footage that you saw the day of the Sandy Hook shooting was not even Sandy Hook. It was a drill at a school 20 miles away.
And that's what happens at every one of these.
For showing that. That's a major red flag. Why would that be?
Oh my God.
Hey, but if you do look at this kid, he does look like he weighs 112 pounds. This fucking kid
But does he even
skinny.
look real, or does he look
but
like a
that's
bad
not the point.
Photoshop job?
I know, but you
He
can't
looks like
make
a
this.
young David Hogg. That's what he looks like.
That's true. This kid
Seriously.
just looks fucking skinny.
Seriously.
Yeah, but I mean, like, wow, dude. I'm going to have to go through this episode again and just start looking up.
Numbers.
So check this
You
out.
good with math?
Speaking of 113, I taught you about 113, the number of deception.
Yeah.
Sandy Hook Elementary School equals 113. Stoneman Douglas High School equals 113. And look at how they just brought, for people who know, that the image put out of Sandy Hook was a whole bunch of children walking in a line with their hands on each other's shoulders. The first image out of Stoneman Douglas was older kids walking in a line with their hands on their shoulders. I said, how interesting. The first image is just like the Sandy Hook image. Also, then we just got the bizarre stories the other day. All right, here, let me transition into something else real quick.
No, dude, it's just unbelievable to me. I'm just blown away. Keep going.
So I'll bring all this together, too, with another event.
Okay.
So last year in October, we were getting those bomb scares. You remember that? Supposedly the mega bomber, he was sending all the bombs in
Austin, right?
Well, we had the Austin bombing earlier in the year in March and April. Then we had the October scare with the mega bomber arrested in Florida who was sending all the bombs to the Democrats and CNN and all the opponents of Trump. You remember that story?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The male stripper out of Florida.
Was, like, clowning us because they were showing us images of the supposed package bombs, and you could see that there was no postage on them and no stamp. So it's like, well, wait a minute. So these packages haven't even gone through the mail. But anyway, what I pointed out then is I said, okay, look at who the name of the Austin bomber is. His name is Mark Anthony. Now look at who the name of the Florida bomber is. Caesar Sayoc, Mark Anthony, Caesar. I was like, this is some Ides of March riddle. Because the Austin bombings were going on during the time of the Ides of March. The Ides of March is to remember the killing of Caesar. By the way, Caesar was supposedly killed in 44 BC with the alphabetic order kill equals 44. We celebrate the Ides of March on the 74th day of the year. Killing equals 74. Stabbing equals 74. Masonic 74. All roads lead to Rome. Roman 74.
Oh, my God.
So it's weird that we celebrate the Ides of March on the 74th day of the year. But anyway, I said, this is some riddle. Mark Anthony, Caesar Sayoc. And this is what they do. They drop riddles. You know, Jim
They
Carrey.
give you clues, right?
He's also in Batman as the Riddler, and in both movies he educates about this code of letters and numbers. Riddler, number 23. Anyway, and I'm telling you, the people who run the world, they do run the world with riddles. But so anyway, I said, remember the Ides of March this year when the Ides of March comes around, which is March 15th, the 74th day of the year. Well, that ended up being the day of the mosque shootings, okay? So I was like, okay, here we go. And what I showed people in October is I showed how they coded the number 101 all over the arrest of Caesar Sayoc. Everything was 101. If you write out Ides of March, it equals 101. So if you go look at the video of the mosque shooting, the supposed address where that mosque shooting was, the address number of that building is 101, right? Ides of March 101, wow. Assassins 101, plus a whole lot more. The area of New Zealand where that shooting happened, that neighborhood, its gematria is 101. And think about what they're trying to do. They're trying to like create this tension in the world between Islam and Christians in Christchurch. It's all a sick joke. But anyway, when you learn this code and these riddles, you can start to get ahead of things. Like, I knew that something would be up with the Ides of March this year. I didn't know it was going to be a mosque shooting in New Zealand. But I said, just watch. And then what happened? Right after the mosque shooting, you have Caesar Sayoc is the headline for the day, pleading guilty for his crimes in October and apologizing to the people of the world. And I said, you see what I mean? I said, watch this story back in October. Now you get the mosque shooting on the Ides of March. Now the next day you get Caesar Sayoc pleading guilty and apologizing. This is all bogus propaganda, contrived news to keep us worked up, distracted. Anyway, so then,
dang it.
So right after that, right after you get this mosque shooting, then you get the students from Stoneman Douglas going to New Zealand to comfort the victims, right? And then right after that, on March 22nd, old 322 or 22/3, 22/3 and 322 are such big numbers to the gang, I'll just put it that way. If you look up the two addresses of the mosque shooting on the Ides of March, one was at the address 101, the other one was at the address 223. And of course he was using the AR-15 with the 223 rounds. But anyway.
And the video, do you see the video where the bullets magically just disappear?
Exactly.
Or he finds clips inside.
Twice and nothing happens.
There's no blood on the ground. There's all these dead, no blood. And then there's a video that was deleted very quickly of people acting like rehearsing.
And there was clips in
exactly. Hey, real quick, Sam, just so people don't call you out, some of the victims there is blood, some there aren't. There's just all sorts of things that don't add up.
Okay.
There's
all right.
all sorts of things that don't make sense.
Thank you. Okay, then I was wrong. I apologize.
But you're right though, because in some of them there aren't, and some there are. So it just looks like a video where some things are like, huh, that looks realistic, but then you watch other things, you're like, well, wait a minute, something's definitely wrong with that. So check this out though. So right after that happens, you get the story of the Stoneman Douglas students going over there to comfort the victims, and then right after that, you get the story of these 3 suicides. 2 are Stoneman Douglas students, and 1 is the parent of a child at Sandy Hook.
Yes.
And so check this out. They say the first girl who committed suicide, they say her name is Sydney Ayo. And it's like, well, wait a minute. They just said the shooter in New Zealand was from Australia. And when you think Australia, you definitely got to think Sydney. And then the way they spelled her name, AI, like artificial intelligence. And what's funny is CNN kept up a story last month, the beginning of March, about they said, look at these people. Don't they look real? Well, this is how sophisticated AI is now. None of these people are real, even though you can't tell the difference. And what's going on in news media right now is these simulated beings are being used in stories that aren't even real. I was like, oh my God, is CNN really publishing this story? Because this is what I've been saying has been going on for some time.
Well, dude, man, look at YouTube, man. All these comments now a lot of them are AI fake comments.
Yep.
There you go.
Wow. Oh my God, we are in chaos right now.
We live in such a crazy time, man. So anyway, so they give you these 3 suicide stories. The first one comes Friday, March 22nd. The last one comes March 25th, and that's the parent of the Sandy Hook student. So So then they put out the name of the father of this Sandy Hook student, right? And there's a lot of details I'm skipping here, but anyway, the name of the father in gematria sums to 142. And why does that matter? Because the Stoneman Douglas shooting was on 14/2, like 142, and it was in the neighborhood Parkland, Florida. And Parkland, Florida equals 142. So does the word terrorist. The word terrorist is 142. They said the New Zealand shooting began at 142 local. That was what was reported, 142. They say the 9/11 terrorist attack lasted an hour and 42 minutes. Again, terrorist is 142.
We have to look.
There's a PB, or is it PBS? Or no, it's History Channel. History Channel has a documentary called 102 Minutes That Changed America, which is about how long the 9/11 attack lasted. 102 minutes is an hour and 42 minutes. Notice on the 102nd day of the year, which just passed, April 12th, Trump put out the controversial tweet with the 9/11 imagery and Ilhan Omar, the Islamic representative. This stuff's not an accident. It's all systematic. It's all by the code. It's all subliminal.
They said 102 minutes changed the world.
There's a you can look it up right now. There's a History Channel documentary called 102 Minutes That Changed America.
But what is how does that connect to 142?
Because 102 minutes is an hour and 42 minutes.
Oh my God, you're right.
Right. So you got to see it. You got to see how it all goes together. And all of this stuff is ritual magic. The word magic equals 102. We just saw on that same day, Luke Walton got fired from the Lakers right after the canning of magic, which was another ritual. I could go on all day, man, but
you are blowing my mind, dude. What do you think?
I want to know if he makes fucking money on this. He knows who's gonna win, who's this. You ever make money on it? You ever make bets? Bet DSI, might as well.
I make pretty good money on this, and what I like doing is helping people make money. So, like, if you listen to my live stream this morning, which is on Patreon, a young guy called in. He's like, before yesterday, I was weighing the hole. I was overdrafted on my bank account. He's like, today I got over 10 G's in it thanks to you, man. I would have never known to bet on Tiger.
Dude, I just subscribed $11. You got $11 from me a month. Got that.
Thanks, Tim. You don't have to pay $11. I'm just gonna be real with people. You don't have to pay $11 a month to get my sports picks. It's only $5 a month. I do it next to free. If you want to sign up at the $11 tier, you get everything I got. But I do all the sports picks for just $5 a month. My lady says it's too low of a price, but there's a lot of people signed up there. I make good cash flow on it. I think my Patreon's somewhere around $8,000 a month, so I can't complain off that.
Oh my God.
And
all right, so what do you got about the NBA Finals?
Well, yeah.
I know the Lakers are out, but what's up? What do you think?
Okay,
right
so
here.
NBA Finals. It's the 73rd NBA season. Help me out. What does 73 make you think of?
73.
Close to 69.
Shut up. The year
What's the
73.
record for the most wins in an NBA season?
73.
Who did it?
The Golden State Warriors.
And Steph Curry, he's born on the 73rd day of the year, Pi Day. And if you go back in history, the day when Michael Jordan's Bulls set the win record at 72, if you go back and look at that season, guess who Michael Jordan played in his 72nd game? Or not, excuse me. Who do you think Michael Jordan played that year in his 73rd game?
Who?
Who's Steph Curry's father?
Del Curry.
Exactly.
Shut up, dude.
Yeah,
Oh,
no, I'm not
shit.
kidding, man. So Jordan's 73rd game that season was against Del Curry. Check this out, man.
It's all
God, what's the number
simulation,
again?
dude.
Whatever's the 100.
We live in a simulation.
For sure.
Hold on.
game.
Hey, Sam, do you have
It's a
anything
game.
else to plug real quick while I look something up for you?
My mental health is just crashed and burned right now, so I'm plugging. Goddamn, I need help. I'm overloaded. Okay, this will be a good time. Maybe we should do it while we can, while you're looking up stuff. It's a segment we haven't done in a while, but I think the children need it.
Oh shit, it's coming.
Yep,
Oh,
it's
shit.
time for, even though we're not at the end, it's time for Aaron Thoughts. Let's hear what Aaron has to say so far to this mind-blowing stuff.
Aaron.
Don't be an idiot.
Hey, Ron. Well, you better be sick, dead, or mute. Hey, Ron. You done messed up.
I'm ready whenever you guys are, but I would like to hear Aaron's feedback because I appreciate
Aaron.
skeptics.
Aaron,
Yeah.
thoughts.
Yeah. Hang on one second.
Okay, he's digesting this as well.
No, I'm trying to fix the audio.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to tell you.
Okay,
All
hold on,
right,
Aaron.
so in the beginning we looked at two ciphers. We looked at the alphabetic order and the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. There's another cipher where you multiply the alphabetic order times 6. So A is 6, B is 12, C is 18, D is 24. Check this out. Michael Jordan played his last career game April 16th, 2013. Or, excuse me, 2003.
Yeah.
April 16th, 2003. He retired with the Wizards against Philadelphia, hometown of Kobe Bryant. Kobe played his last game April 13th, 2016, okay? From April 16th, 2003 to April 13th, 2016 is exactly 678 weeks on the nose. Now, why does that matter?
Why does that matter?
Like Jordan with the alphabetic order. And if you write out Kobe Bryant with the alphabetic order, they both sum to 113, this number of deception. If you multiply 113 times 6 using that cipher, it's 678. These guys retired 678 weeks apart on the nose. Jordan played his last game in Philly. Kobe played his last game. Well, I'll connect the Kobe piece here too. There's a few steps to think about. And we're going to connect this to the Warriors also.
Okay.
If you can remember Kobe's last game, there were two games going on ESPN. ESPN 1 had Kobe's last game against the Utah Jazz. By the way, Utah Jazz is the only team in the NBA that sums to 113 and 678. One of the teams Jordan beat in the finals. Kobe Bryant's retirement poem that year was called Dear Basketball, which he won, I think, an Oscar for or something like that.
Yeah.
Dear Basketball equals 113 and 678. By the way, Steph Curry and Klay Thompson set a record on that day. Most three-pointers made in a season by two players on a team, which was 678. If you write out the National Basketball Association with the alphabetic order and rules of numerology, it's 113. But
I'm blown away, dude. I am blown away.
This is how sick it is, though. So Kobe and Jordan's final games are perfectly synced. Now, if you remember, the Warriors were playing their last game, getting the 73rd win, eclipsing Jordan's win record with his Bulls, while Kobe was playing his last game, the biggest star in the league since Jordan. And Kobe played his last game against Utah. Again, Utah Jazz is the only team that's 113 and 678, so perfect. But you might recall that before that NBA season, you had the back-to-back deaths of two great Philadelphia players. Darryl Dawkins dropped dead at age 58. By the way, Kobe Bryant's also 58, so was Los Angeles Lakers like Freemasonry. Darryl Dawkins drops dead at age 58. And then right after that, you get the death of Moses Malone at age 60. Kobe went out in his final game with 60 points. Do you remember these deaths?
Yeah.
Okay. So Moses Malone dropped dead at age 60. Kobe finishes his career with a 60-point game where they kept track of his shots all game. Moses Malone was drafted into the NBA out of high school just like Kobe, and he was drafted by Utah. You see? So all of this stuff is a really sick, dark joke. And I'm telling you, Daryl Dawkins and Moses Malone were both murdered for the ritual of that season, and it being Kobe's last season. And that was the year where I had the Warriors. Every year that the Warriors and Cavs met in the finals, I called from the start of the season, and I called the Cavs winning the second year. Guaranteed. I said, guaranteed the Cavs win the championship over the Warriors this year. It's a done deal, and they're going to win it on Game 7 on the real King James's birthday.
Oh, my.
Remember, the Cavs were down 3-1 in those finals, and the odds were 40-1 or better on sites. I wish my channel wasn't deleted because I tell you guys to go read the comments on that video. You should. I must have won the world $100 million, dude. People saying I've never had this much money in my life. Dude, Zach, I just bought a $40,000 car before I was driving, a $500 piece of shit. Just people were.
My God!
So you're telling us to bet our dicks on the Clippers?
I'm not betting. No, no. The Clippers, dude.
It was
said they're winning.
Hold on. You're saying the Clippers are winning this series?
Who?
No, he said the Golden State
Oh,
Warriors.
the Golden State Warriors. My bad.
God.
Oh shit. Look, all right, here. All right, the Golden State Warriors won 57 games. So we had the Warriors pegged to win 57 games before the season finished because NBA Finals equals 57. Always an important number. How many games do you have to win in the playoffs to win the championship?
16.
So what's 57 plus 16?
71?
What?
No. Why am I doing math right now?
72.
It's 73. What season are we in?
The 73rd?
There you go. I'm not going to say anymore. I'm not going to say anymore. But check this out. When LeBron came back and won it on the real King James's birthday. Okay, King James's birthday is June 19th, right? If you write that out in the U.S., 619. 619 is the 114th prime number. LeBron James in gematria equals 114, okay? He used to always play the Indiana Pacers in the playoffs, not because there was some coincidence, because Indiana Pacers is the only team that equals 114. But this is what a lot of people don't get about his nickname being King James. If you look up where the name Cavaliers comes from, it comes from the son of the real King James. King James's son was King Charles, and people who fought for King Charles were Cavaliers. So you got King James playing for the Cavaliers. And the other thing is a lot of people don't know who LeBron James's father is, but I'm pretty sure I know who his father is. Do you know who Nate Thurman is?
Nate Thurman.
Nate Thurman.
The basketball player or the football player?
Yeah, a great basketball player who has his number 42 retired with the Warriors and the Cavs. LeBron James in gematria also sums to 42. If you use the alphabetic order and rules of numerology, 42. Just like the name Jackie equals 42. Here we are on Jackie Robinson Day. February, the month that sums to 42. The N-word sums to 42. Number stamped all over Black history. That's why LeBron James got beat by the Pacers by 42 points 42 days after his fake injury this past season. Right after he said he was getting that Jewish money on Christmas Eve. But,
what?
Here it is. You remember all this? Oh, yeah, it's all scripted, man. It's all a perfect script. Humiliation rituals. But Nate Thurman wore the number 42 for the Warriors and the Cavs. So the Warriors and Cavs face each other in the NBA Finals. The Warriors win. Then the next year, repeat. But this time the Cavs win on the real King James's birthday. LeBron scored 27 in Game 7. He scored 27 in Game 7. And then 27 days later, Nate Thurman dropped dead. You see how that works? The word ritual equals 27. Nate Thurman dropped dead at age 74. Infamous number in this study. Again, gematria 74. Killing 74. Masonic 74. This stuff's not an accident. If you go back and look at the day that LeBron won Game 7, there was a Hollywood actor who died that day. The story was that he left his emergency brake off.
Yes.
His
and
SUV
it killed him.
Crushed him against the front of his house. His name was Anton Yelchin. You remember this story?
Yes.
Yep. He died at age 27, and he died. If I remember right, he died 103 days from his birthday, or he had 103 birth numerology. The reason that matters is because 103 is the 27th prime number. When the Cavs won in Game 7 that day, it was their 103rd game of their season. And again, LeBron scored 27. And then 27 days later, Nate Thurmond drops dead. And by the way, LeBron James, Steph Curry, and Nate Thurmond, all born in Akron, Ohio, in the same hospital. What are the odds?
Oh my God, dude! What do you think? No crazy question. What do you think? No, stupid.
No. The numbers kind of make sense, but it's just like you find these things to find it. But I mean, he's been winning. He's been getting it right, so I can't argue with him.
Okay,
that's what I need to know. I need to know how it goes.
So check it out. Here, another example for you, Aaron. February 8th, I put out a video. I said, look at this story out of
he's
Virginia.
Mexican. Go on. Oh my.
Virginia, February 8th, you got a story about the Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax raping a woman at Duke.
Yes.
This story came February 8th, one day between Virginia and Duke playing in college basketball. And I said on February 8th, I said, here's your riddle for the college basketball championship. I told my Patreon followers that day. I said, bet on Duke and Virginia to win the championship. It's going to be one of these teams. I said, this very well could be the championship, too. It could be Duke and Virginia. Well, obviously it wasn't Duke and Virginia, but Virginia did win the championship. So here's what it was. February 8th to the date of the championship, April 8th, was 59 days later. And the name of the man who supposedly raped the woman at Duke, Justin Fairfax, his name equaled 59. His name also summed to 85. Basketball equals 85. The first March Madness was in 1985 and not by accident. Virginia ends up winning the tournament with 85 points. Virginia also advanced to the tournament with 63 points. Cavaliers equal 63. See how many losses the Cavs in the NBA finished with this year. They finished with 63 losses.
Oh my God.
College pro all synced up.
Oh my God.
Yep. So when it came time to the tournament, I told my people that between Duke and Virginia, I was starting to really lean towards Virginia to win it. And the reason why is because Tony Bennett, the coach of Virginia, not to be confused with the singer, he was at 89 career losses. If you write out Virginia with the alphabetic order, it's 89. If you write out Virginia Cavaliers with the alphabetic order and rules of numerology, it's 89. So I said, how perfect for him to finish this season as the champion with 89 career losses, which is exactly what he did.
Oh my
also,
God.
This was the 35th edition of March Madness. Virginia got their 35th win of the season in the championship, but they also got their 35th all-time tournament win. So, people who are following me, they've won big on the Super Bowl this year. They've won big on college basketball. They've won huge on Tiger Woods. And I'm just going to let people know, I'm not going to mislead anybody about my work. Calling games day to day can be tough. There's some days where I'm awesome. Last Monday, I went 18-1 with my picks. 18 right, 1 wrong. On a typical day, I'd say I do around 65 to 70% of games called correctly. Some days I'll have god-awful days. Yesterday was a bad day. Yesterday I was right about 50% with my picks, 50-50. I might even been one game under 50% yesterday. But this knowledge, what it really can be used for is for cluing in on the riddles that are foreshadowing what's going to happen with the championship games. Because there's always news stories that sync up with these championships. You just have to find the stories and which ones connect. And it's things like a Virginia governor raping a Duke woman the day before Virginia and Duke play. When you see that and you see how things line up and you know the gematria, you're like, okay, this is your story right here. This is what's telling you. 2 years ago, I didn't do March Madness last year because I actually had to work and do something else and I didn't have time. But 2 years ago, I did March Madness and I told people that was a lock. North Carolina would beat Gonzaga and the number was 71. Lo and behold, North Carolina did beat Gonzaga, and they beat them with 71 points.
Oh
Gonzaga,
my God, dude.
Like a Bulldogs 71, March Madness 71. The reason I knew that is because the news story that was synced up that year with the tournament was about how North Carolina, Charlotte, lost the All-Star game due to the bathroom bill. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
Bathroom bill equals 71. I said, this is what it's all about. So the NBA, like the Carolinas are being punished. They're losing the All-Star game, so they're going to pay it back. And my prediction was, I said, all these Carolina teams, I said, I'd go hard on the Carolina teams this year. You had South Carolina in the Final Four. You had North Carolina win the championship. And the ultimate sick joke was that the women who won it that year were the South Carolina Gamecocks. And if you watch that tournament, all throughout the tournament, they referred to that women's team as the Lady Cocks. And just think about it. With the bathroom bill, the debate over who could use the bathroom, the men, the women, the trannies. So you got the Lady Cocks winning it.
You're not buying any of this.
Dude, no.
You're not buying any of this, XG?
You've taken off your headphones like 5 times. You've been blown away 5 times. I got one question to ask him. Last one.
We got to get to Aaron's thoughts.
I know. Did you think, okay, so you've been talking all about American sports. How about the World Cup? Did you know France was going to win? Was there something behind that? There has to be, right?
Yeah, that whole fake cave story. The story that makes no sense. Supposedly children got stopped in a cave in Thailand.
Yeah, the one that lasted like a month?
No, what's his face from Tesla was saying, Elon Musk was saying involved pedos. You're saying that was fake.
That whole story was so obviously fake. You mean to tell me that they can't get these children out of the cave, but they got every news network in there filming it? Supposedly these kids haven't eaten for how many days, and they're all standing up, shoulder to shoulder, looking into the camera? I mean, how fake could the story be?
Oh, my God. So you don't think any of this is real?
Okay, well, I want to know what has to do that with the World Cup.
Okay, so that territory used to be French territory. And, God, I got to pull up my notes on this right now.
Okay,
you're good.
Hold
Okay,
on.
ask Aaron.
1 second here to pull
Aaron,
up these notes.
we got to wrap this up because we got another podcast coming in here. Because
go ahead.
It's the fucking Illuminati podcast, right, Aaron? Is it the fucking Lizard People podcast?
No, it's soccer.
Okay. Oh, that's why you're okay. Hey, Aaron, thoughts?
This is insane.
Oh,
So, did he say the Red Sox won 4-1 in Game 5 last season?
I don't know what he. No, he said they won the series 4-1.
They did. They won 4-1, Game 5.
No, it was 5-1. I was there.
I don't know.
No, he's playing, man.
No, it's 5-1. I was there.
Okay, look it up. That's what
They
Google's
won the series
for.
4-1, but they didn't win the game.
That's
5-1.
what Google's for. God damn.
You can look that
I'm
up.
starting to think he's compromised.
No, XG.
Okay, so let's throw the baby out with the bathwater. Is that what you're
No,
saying?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that's one thing I found.
One thing. Okay, we're gonna have people crunch numbers here, but
Well, whoever that guy's in the background is breaking balls, man. The World Series is best of 7. Nobody has to win 5 games.
No,
They
he's
won
saying
in
he's
game.
saying that you said they won the game 4-1. You're saying they won the series 4-1.
Right, they won the series 4-1 in Game 5. 99 days from the Super Bowl to conclude the 99th NFL season.
Aaron, thoughts?
Sure, that all adds up.
Boom!
Oh, shit.
But that's
God
not
damn!
what he said the first time. So I just
Go,
made sure.
Aaron. Here we go. Court stenographer. Wow, Zachary. Honestly, I can't take anymore. You've blown my mind.
Hey, just real quick about your question about the World Cup. I don't have all my notes up in front of me, but that whole cave story began June 23rd, which was a date with 47 numerology. The name of the cave, Tom Luong Cave, where it happened equals 47. So does France. There was some greater, I don't have my notes up, but there was some sync with that date and the date the World Cup was won. And if you remember the crash of the helicopter by the UK football team owner, who's also from Thailand, that was also part of the ritual. I'd have to go back and look at it all, man.
All right,
but
we're going to do
this stuff
another
gets dark.
episode, Zachary. Zachary, final question, then we got to go because the oppression is thick in here right now, okay? The final question is, how do you live in this society? How do you talk to other people? Because I don't even know this, and people are weirded out by what do you do?
Well, I know how people are, man. I learned how people were after September 11th. Most people aren't open-minded. They're not questioning anything. They're believing mainstream narratives. So most people, I just go with the vibe of people. I'm not talking about most truth-related stuff with most people. I'm just,
Oh my God.
people who are open to it, I talk to them about it. Other people, oftentimes I'm just nodding my head and just, acting like I don't know nothing. So
This is nuts. Zachary, don't hang up, but we got to go. I appreciate you coming on. My mind's blown.
Way too blown.
Way too blown.
Walked
Way
away like
too
5
blown.
times.
You blew my mind so much I spent $11 on your Patreon. That's how much you blew my mind. You
Well,
should
thanks,
do this
man. I
on
appreciate that.
individual people all the time. Oh my God. I'm going to try to buy that book of foundation, or what's it called? The book of
Formation.
Formation. I'm going to try to read that shit. All right, this has been Tinfoil Hat. Your mind is blown. My mind is blown. We love you very much, and we'll have another episode out this week if I don't quit this podcast because I feel like it's all a fucking simulation. All right, guys, you're the best. We'll see you soon. Aaron fucking ruined everything. Bye, guys.
All right, let him in.
Tinfoil hat. Oh, what the fuck are you guys even talking about?
Global controls will have to be imposed, and a world governing body will be created to enforce them.
Welcome to Tinfoil Hat. We go deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the fountain of knowledge. There's lizard people everywhere. That's some interdimensional shit. Wake up, Aaron.
This is only the beginning.
Dude, you just blew my mind.
Are you ready to get your mind blown?
Good morning, Swarm, and welcome to Tinfoil Hat. You know I am. You know I'm here to do. I'm here to
Rock!
join me as always, Xavier Guerrero and Jay Nice, Johnny Woodard, live from space. How are you guys?
We're doing good.
It's cold up here, man.
Cold up there, dude. Cold up there, bro. I can see your frosted nipples. Hey, guys, great show today. We had Zachary Hubbard on, and he came. He dropped some serious hammer. You know, if you love a show where I don't talk a lot, this is going to be your favorite show. I'm sorry, he's making a run for it, dude. He's making a run for the Mount Crushmore. It's a great show. Great, lot of information. Makes you wonder, dude.
Bring out the notepad. Bring out the notepad.
You're going to have to hit pause. You have to write down a lot of stuff because he's dropping a whole lot of knowledge on you. Okay. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Got a lot of wonderful things going on. If you go to samtripoli.com, you can get all the information you need on myself, my shows I got coming up. I have some live shows coming up. July 15th, I'm in Morris Plains. July 15th, 16th at the Dojo Comedy. Then on July 20th, I have a Comedy Chaos with a murder lineup.
Murder
lineup. Okay, that's July 20th. Then August 5th and 6th, I'm going to be at Cobb's in San Francisco. And then we have some more dates coming up. I'm going to start ramping it up. I'm not doing the road as much because of gas prices. Just go to samtripoli.com. We have some premium content for you. If these shows aren't enough for you, I have so much premium content. Tinfoil Hat, Zero, Conspiracy Social Club, all on there. And I have a very, very, very popular one on Patreon called Cash Daddies. Check that out. That is on fire. In these crazy times, people are making 40% on their investment. Johnny, am I right or am I wrong?
Oh, you're totally right. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy. Got some new shirts coming out. Just go to samtripoli.com. Click the link that says Tinfoil Hat T-shirts, Conspiracy Social Club T-shirts. I got a really good one coming out right now. I also have cameos. I've been crushing cameos. Your old lady's got a job coming up. You want me to, seduce your lady for you so you can get some action. I do all the cameos, 2-3 minute cameos, dropping hammer. Also, great way to invest in these crazy times, gold and silver, and go check out Wise Wolf, buy gold and silver. Just click the link right there and you will get it going. Conspiracy, the Tinfoil Hat Telegram group is fire. We're almost at 4,000 people on there. And then my Zero Telegram group as well. All spiritual discussions, no conspiracies, but all spiritual talk. I have some killer free shows for you. We got Broken Sim, which is the #1 podcast in Turks and Caicos. It is basically the Grand Theft Auto podcast. I walk around Hollywood putting my life in danger, coming and talking about it. We also do news of the week to prove that the simulation is broken. Word on the street is that Johnny is one of the sexiest man of podcasting, according to a lot of the comments lately on the Apple Podcast
Really?
comments. Congratulations,
Haven't
Johnny.
seen that. Wow, thank you.
Number one. So we have Broken Sim, Cash Daddies, Tinfoil Hat, Punch Drunk Sports, Union of the Unwanted. If you love this show, you should check out the Union of the Unwanted. And then I have some very special older episodes from two of my premium content shows, Conspiracy Social Club with Brian Callen and Zero, again, my spiritual podcast. And then I have a radio show station that plays all my podcasts 24/7. You can listen to it anytime you want on samtripoli.com. Anything else, guys? What do you got going on, Xavier?
I actually have a show July 15th and 16th in Arizona, Tucson, and Bisbee. Go buy your tickets at georgepcomedy.com.
Oh, they're back on, huh?
We're back on. Yes, we're back on. We're back and rolling.
And
Nice.
new Broken
Johnny?
Sam just dropped, so check it out.
And what are the kids saying about it?
The kids do not listen because this is a very adult show. But the adult
this is for
grown
the
people,
adults. Leave
they
the kids
love
at
it.
home. They love it. The
They love
adults love it. The kids aren't ready for it. Leave
No.
it at home. All right. So, guys, enjoy this episode with Zach Hubbard.
We go deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the...
All right, let's get into it. Very excited to have this next guest on. He's easily one of the most requested guests to have back on the show. Please welcome Gematria superstar Zach Hubbard. How are you, buddy?
Doing very well. It's great to be back. Thank you again for having me. And I owe you a big thank you for last time. It's been about 3 years since we talked, but you brought a lot of new people into this knowledge and this research through your podcast. So I am forever grateful. So thank you.
Well, I appreciate you, Zach. Thanks for coming on. Yeah, man, like I said, you get requested probably more than anybody else on the show. And we're glad we can make it happen. And it's always interesting, whenever an event comes down and all the gematria stuff comes out, I always wonder what your take is on it. So here we are, very excited about this conversation. Where do you want to start?
Maybe with what I've really been covering since the last time that we talked, because I've learned something new from since then that's really brought my work together a lot more cohesively. And I mean, it'll answer a lot of questions people have about what's going on in the world, including why did the Georgia Guidestones really blow up this morning? What was it, just a random act, or is there something purposeful about what happened at that monument? But since we last hooked up, I've really been researching and understanding why the number 201 is so important to the Illuminati, the same one established May 1st, 1776. And it answers a lot of questions like what really happened on 9/11, why 2 towers became 0, became 1, why Event 201 was the coronavirus pandemic simulation, and why this number is so relevant to everything going on in the nation. I'll put it this way. It's not an accident that Joe Biden's son, Beau Biden, died at 46 years before he became number 46, in light of the fact that his son died 201 days before the Pope's birthday. Pope Francis, who's the first Jesuit Pope, the first to live in Suite 201 at the Vatican. And again, Pope Francis, the Jesuits, he's the first Jesuit Pope, are originally from France, and the last French Pope was the 201st. And if you study this number 201, you see that it goes back to the Jesuits. It's important to their history. The Illuminati was created by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt, and Adam Weishaupt ended up dying in history 201 days after the anniversary of its establishment on the 322nd day of the year, 322, the number of Skull and Bones. And now you have the Skull and Bones Monument this morning blowing up 201 days after the Pope's birthday on George W. Bush's birthday, he's the biggest celebrity from Skull and Bones alive today. But again, we'll bring all this together, but I really want to teach you guys about the number 201 and why this number matters to the Illuminati and why it's so important to their rituals, because it'll shed a lot of light.
I want to hear all this. I want to hear I'm sorry to cut you off, and I'm already hearing the complaints, but I'm going to let you go on a long rant because I want you to get in your groove. But what I want to open up with is, how do you not lose yourself in the numbers? If you're always looking, and I'm not saying anybody's crazy or anything like that, but I would personally be like, if everything is a number, I'd be like, I mean, I couldn't function in reality. I would be like, oh my God, this, that. How do you not do that?
I'm not looking at all the numbers in my life. Like I'm not looking at the numbers on my receipt at the grocery store and the gas pump and the numbers on my odometer. I'm looking at the rituals that are being performed in the news day after day and why something is called Event 201, a coronavirus pandemic simulation put on 1 month before the outbreak on the same day the military World Games began in Wuhan, China. There's got to be something more to what they're doing than it just being coincidence. So anyway, it's about following the number trail. Like, again, I got into this study to understand what's really going on in the world. September 11th happened when I was 18 years old. And I said, this is the biggest, most obvious lie there ever was. Buildings that look like an 11 on the 11th day of the month, the first flight AA-11, George H.W. Bush, who was the president 11 years to the day. He gave the speech about a new world order that day, 11 years to the day. Again, 11, the master number of numerology. So again, I've always researched this from looking at it through the media and government standpoint and I guess the better part of the last decade, and also how it's connected to the rigged sports, which is why we've continued to be able to call futures. Again, you learn this knowledge, you see the benefits. If you get carried away with it, like you were just saying, I mean, that's another thing. But understanding what's being done, like we had a shooting on the 4th of July with a guy with a 47 tattooed on his head who's driving around with a car with a big 47 on it. And for the last decade, I've been teaching everybody about the significance of 47, where it comes from, why this nation's birthday is the 4th day of the 7th month, why Abraham Lincoln really said 7 years ago as he created the Republican Party. This shooting was just in the land of Lincoln. Again, 47 is the number in the study of gematria. I think we talked about it a lot the last time we met in 2019 about it's not arbitrary that the first Super Bowl season was in the 47th season of the NFL. It's not arbitrary that the first pro basketball championship was in 47. These things aren't arbitrary. They're numbers of an organization. And again, that organization, one of those organizations is Masonry, which has its headquarters in DC, where it's etched right on their building. All is number. The 4th book of the Bible is numbers. So again, there's people who are using numbers as a language. You know, doing this research is like doing detective work. It's like figuring out what these numbers mean to these numerologists and then being able to get ahead of their plans and understand what their next move is before it happens. And again, we'll bring it all together, Sam, but I know you got questions. And you also said you're already getting complaints. So let me make sure that I'm not generating complaints.
No. I'm not getting anything you're saying. It's people get mad at me because they say I cut the guest off. So what I'm saying is people, when they hear this, they're going to be like, let him talk, Sam. You just always got to jump in. And
cut me off anytime, Sam. Anytime, cut me off.
I see behind you is a license plate that says, what is 47? So obviously, you know, this is something you've been talking about for a while. The shooter had the number 47 tattooed on his thing. So you're totally in line. Weird things happening on TMZ today. They were showing that they put up, listen, it could easily be nonlinear warfare, but I got this, somebody I know was texting me that TMZ was posting his court date, like he was in court, and she said, I'll show everybody the pictures. It's really weird. And then it was wiped off, gone. And I think all that's done to get us to argue with each other and all that stuff. But he did have 47 on the side of his face. Super interesting. So I'm all ears, dude. Let me hear
about him. Okay. His rap name is Awake. And if you just take the alphabetic order, again, gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words, the most simple ciphers, just A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, up to Z, the 26 letters, 26. Again, you learn this simple code of A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. You'll never look at the news the same way again. If you add up Awake, A would be 1, the first letter. W is the 23rd letter, so W is 23. A is 1. K is the 11th letter. E is 5. You add up those letters, Awake equals 41. He's arrested on Route 41. This is the story from the feds. Arrested on Route 41. From his birthday, September 20th, to the shooting was exactly 41 weeks on the nose. Awake 41 on Route 41. You see this same stuff again. Dylan Stormroof, his name equaled 74, like white supremacist, where he's arrested on Route 74. You just had the white supremacist shooting on Israel's 74th birthday at the Tops that opened on O.J. Simpson's birthday. That tops where the shooting just happened open on OJ's birthday, just down the street from the rock pile where the Bills used to play when they were in Buffalo. That shooting happened while O.J. Simpson's 74, while again on Israel's 74th birthday, and they compared it to the Christchurch, New Zealand white supremacist shooting, which happened on the 74th day of the year. Again, in gematria, white supremacist equals 74. That you learn this knowledge, you see through, but what I really want to teach people about is 201, because this really is such an important number to learn that reveals a lot. And before I get into it, Sam, is there anything you wanted to say?
Oh, I got a question. Let's say I want to get into gematria and an event happens. What's the first thing? Like, how do I go down a rabbit hole like you? It makes it seem easy. You connect the dots and like, how didn't I see that? How do you start, or it seems like you're just obviously an expert at it. Don't start by decoding words. Read the story and see if there's a number that they're using in the story. Sometimes they'll use a number multiple times. You're like, man, it doesn't seem like they need to be so specific about that number. And then look on that date in history, because so often these things are a tribute to history. More than a year ago, maybe a year ago now, there was a beheading in France, and that was on the anniversary of Antoinette. Or I can't even think of her name right Antoinette?
now. That was on the anniversary of her beheading, and it's just like, come on, man. But so often, if you watch the news, you see that they're doing this. So the thing about the Georgia Guidestones this morning, it's George W. Bush's birthday. And I've always pointed this out about the Georgia Guidestones. They were put there on March 22nd, 322, which is the number associated with Yale, Skull and Bones. And Tim Russer asked Bush and Kerry in 2004, when they were the frontrunners for president, what were the odds they're both in this small little group, Skull and Bones, that goes by this number 322. And they both laughed about it and said they can't say because it's a secret. And so,
by the way, he died.
Yeah, Tim Russert died shortly after. And in the news story, they were sure to report that the paramedics got to him at 2:23, which is 322 in reverse. They put that in the story.
Oh, my God.
It's sick, man. Tim Russert's Jesuit educated, too, so he probably knew more than the average guy. But today is Bush's 76th birthday. And today is July 6th, 7-6. Oh. And if you write out Skull and Bones in gematria, it equals 76. Another Skull and Bones member that's born on this day in history that's real important in history is Daniel Quake Gilman. His name equals 76, like Skull and Bones, born on 76. He founded the Johns Hopkins University, which, and if you notice, they always say the. They make sure you say the before you say Johns Hopkins. If you write out that full thing, the Johns Hopkins University, it equals 322, like the number at Skull and Bones. And again, the founder of the Illuminati. So people don't know this, but Skull and Bones is modeled after the way the Knights Templar buried their dead in an ossuary, which was a box, an engraved box, and you decompose a body in a shallow grave. Then you take their skeleton and place it in the box, and the last piece would be the biggest bones in your body, the crossbones, and then your skull on top. So this is where Skull and Bones gets their symbolism from, related to the Knights Templar who served the Catholic Church. New Haven, Connecticut, where the Bush family's from, where Skull and Bones is, in Yale. That's also where the Knights of Columbus, who serve the Catholic Church, are headquartered. And for the record, Catholic equals 46, like Connecticut. The first Catholic president got assassinated at age 46. Joe Biden's the second Catholic president, elected exactly 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday. 46 books in the Catholic Old Testament. Catholic equals 46. Just before Biden won the election, Mauve Kennedy from the JFK family was found drowned with her son on 4/6, April 6th. Beau Biden dead at 46. Again, we were telling people for more than a year before the election why Biden would become number 46 in light of the death of his son and the way this Jesuit Illuminati network runs it. But again, let me come back to the number I really want to tell you about. To answer your question, though, just start with the date, look at the numbers in the story, look if there's something in history, and then just decode the keywords, and you'll just find so often the keywords, the location in the story, it just will all sync up. I could teach how to decode to a second grader, and I promise you, the majority of those kids in that second grade classroom, after a week of practice, they would be able to decode their own stories. Guaranteed, because this code is as simple as A, B, C is 1, 2, 3. And it should remind everybody back in kindergarten, you learned the alphabetic order, but they never told you why. Why did it matter that A was the first letter, B was the second, C was the third, D is the fourth? Why does that matter? They could have sung the song in any arrangement of letters for you to memorize letters. There's a reason for the order. And again, this order goes back to old languages like Hebrew and ancient Greek, where every letter is a number. Again, that's the gematria isopsophy thing, and it's alive and well in English. And to show you how these things translate across languages.
In Hebrew, which is the original study, the number 201 is associated with light, which is knowledge to the occult. In English, if you write out the phrase knowledge is power, it equals 201. And this is really interesting because this number is so important to the Jesuits. Again, you have to understand in the 16th century, the Jesuits are created to counter the Counter-Reformation. Martin Luther and the 95 Theses brought the Jesuits together to stop the Counter-Reformation in Europe. So in the 16th century, the Jesuits are created. And then about 50 years later, the Gregorian calendar, which is named after a pope that we're now on, rolls out. At that same moment in history, English is standardized as a 26-letter alphabet. And in the scientific world, it becomes consensus that heliocentrism, with the sun at the center of everything, is the scientific model. And we're pretty much using the same calculations and understanding of the world around us from that 16th century period. So all of this stuff happened in the end of the 16th century. Now, here's what's interesting. 201. Again, you look into the Jesuits, you'll find this number so important to their history. Again, we're living right now in the time of the first Jesuit Pope, Pope Francis, who's the first to live in Suite 201 at the Vatican. And again, Francis, the Jesuits are originally from France, Paris, France, 1534, August 15th. So the last French Pope was the 201st. Pope Francis's birth name is Jorge Mario Bergoglio. If you spell that out, so J would be the 10th letter, O the 15th, R the 18th. If you add up the letters of his name, it equals 201.
Oh, just come on. Really?
Yeah. If you spell out Ignatius of Loyola, the founder of the Jesuits, it equals 201. That's the founder of the Jesuits. Catherine the Great. So Catherine the Great supposedly saved the Jesuits in their suppression. She was the leader of Russia. And the story is that she preserved the order with 201 Jesuit priests. Now, consider that was in 1773. 3 years later, Adam Weishaupt, who's a Jesuit, establishes the Order of Illuminati. Order of Illuminati. You want to guess what it equals?
201.
201. And again, he ends up dying in history November 18th, 1830, which is 201 days after the anniversary of its establishment. And he died on the 322nd day of the year, 322. Now, that number is bigger than Skull and Bones. It's Genesis 3:22, which talks about the tree of life, which is the physical model for Kabbalah. The tree of life has 3 pillars and 22 paths. This year, Hillary, who went to Yale, was sick with COVID on 322, if you didn't get the joke. And Skull and Bones, they're known for being practical jokesters. But the phrase that's also in Genesis 3:22 is knowing good and evil. That phrase equals 201, like knowledge is power. Now, if you run the alphabetic order in reverse, if you just make Z1 back to A is 26 and write out the Holy Bible, it's 201. If you write out the Jesuit order, it's 201. A lot of things connected to the Jesuits equal 201, forwards and backwards. It's a really long list with all of their rituals, but it's also the way they perform these rituals. Skull and Bones also has Gematria 201. When the movie The Skulls came out about Paul Walker stars in The Skulls about Skull and Bones, that movie came out right before George W. Bush became the latest Skull and Bones president. The one before that was his father. But in the movie, that movie came out 201 days after Paul Walker's birthday. And he gets a red Porsche in that movie, like how he ended up dying in a bizarre accident in a red Porsche.
Oh, my God.
He died 5 years to the day that George H.W. Bush would die. November 30th, 2013, Paul Walker dies. November 30th, 2018, George H.W. Bush dies. He was number 41, November 30th, 11 plus 30, 41. What's Skull and Bones equal when you use numerology? It equals 41. If you're new here, Gematria is very simple. It's the alphabetic order forwards, backwards, forwards with numerology, backwards with numerology. That does mean that each word can give you 4 numerical values. But when you understand this system, you see how perfectly put together it is. For example, the CIA was established in history on the 201st day of the Pope's age, September 18th, 47. And the words in the CIA's logo, Central Intelligence Agency, United States of America, they add up to 201 when you use the alphabetic order of the rules of numerology. That's considered the most pure cipher, according to Manly P. Hall, who ended up dying in history 201 days from his birthday as well. But Inauguration Day for President of the United States. The official title for Inauguration Day is Inauguration of the President of the United States. If you look at the U.S. government website, that's how they phrase what that day is. Inauguration of the President of the United States, which equals 201, in the exact same way Central Intelligence Agency, United States of America does. Now think about what day Inauguration Day is. 20/1, like 201. Making this all the more interesting, we just got Joe Biden, and don't forget that his son, Beau Biden, died May 30th, 201 days before the Pope's birthday on December 17th, Saturnalia, 201 days prior, and the Jesuit priest who did the funeral for Beau Biden at age 46 did the inauguration for Joe Biden as number 46 on the date that can be written 20/1. And his name was Leo Jeremiah O'Donovan, which equals 201. And again, he was the president of Georgetown, the nation's first Jesuit university. And this stuff just goes on forever. I mean,
Hold on one second.
I got to tell you about Alec Baldwin when we come back. Go ahead.
All right. Hey, everybody, I want to tell you about our friends at Bespoke Post. That's right. Take your summer adventures to the next level with Bespoke Post and their new seasonal lineup of must-have Box of Awesome collections. Bespoke partners with small business and emerging brands to bring you unique goods every month. Okay, let me tell you about my favorite box. Okay, Terra. All right, the knife in the Terra box is made by Bare Bones, based in Salt Lake. What do you like, Xavier?
I got the Scorch Box. Hot sauces are from small brands all over the country, with some Texas, Nevada, California, and more. I'm Mexican. I had to do hot sauce.
Yeah, you got to, Johnny.
I got the Weekender bag. It's this. It's like a travel bag that is just the right size for a weekend trip. It's got metal reinforced hinges. XG's got it up on the screen now if you're on video. It's beautiful.
No matter what you have going on this season, Box of Awesome has you covered. From camping gear essentials to beach day and travel must-haves. Okay, Box of Awesome has everything you need to get started. Just take the quiz at boxofawesome.com. Your answers will help them pick the right Box of Awesome for you. They release new boxes every month across a ton of different categories. All right. Plus, with each Box of Awesome, you're supporting local businesses. 90% of everything that comes in Box of Awesome is from a small up-and-coming brand. Each box is valued at $70, but you only pay a fraction of the cost. Okay, so here's what we're doing, okay? And it's free to sign up, and you can skip a month or cancel at any time. Get 20% off your first monthly box when you sign up at boxofawesome.com. Enter the code tinfoil at checkout. That's boxofawesome.com, code tinfoil for 20% off your first box. Boxofawesome.com, promo code tinfoil. Go on. Go to Alex Baldwin. Then I got
Okay. So Alec Baldwin smoked the Ukrainian woman, and no one got the joke. So Alec Baldwin, that shooting happened exactly 201 days after his birthday. And it was in a church shooting scene on the set of Rust. Ukrainian woman, Rust, R-U-S. Isn't this how we abbreviate Russia? And again, it's the church behind all of this. If you go to when Biden warned Putin not to invade Ukraine, it was June 9th, 2021, 201 days after Biden's birthday. Later that year on Pearl Harbor Day, December 7th, Biden and Putin meet reportedly for 2 hours and 1 minute, kind of like 2:01 on a timer, 201 days after the Ignatian year began. Look this up, the Ignatian year. It was the first ever one. It was declared May 20th. That's the day in history Ignatius Loyola was shot with a cannonball. 201 days after that began, Nick Cannon was on TV talking about why his child died, which is another subject. But it was also the day that Biden and Putin were discussing Russia-Ukraine. So when Russia-Ukraine, the military conflict kicked off, it was in the Donbass region, which equals 201. And this year on June 9th, the 1-year anniversary of Biden warning Putin not to invade Ukraine, the 1-year anniversary of that was the day that we got the news headline that Russia had taken over the Donbass region, the most key military area in all of the land that they've been working on since the beginning of the military invasion. But again, 201 in a huge 201 ritual. When Putin got invited to G7 this year, that was 201 days before the event. You follow this number, you see what the Illuminati network is. Again, Order of Illuminati is 201 in English. Illuminati means in the light. In Hebrew, the word light is represented by the number 201. And again, back in the 16th century, heliocentrism was agreed to. Heliocentrism equals 201. So think about that. 201 is the number of the Jesuits. It's the number of the Holy Bible. They pull these numbers from the Bible ritualistically. Genesis 11:9 is where the story of the Tower of Babel ends, the tower that divides the world. The majority of the world writes the date September 11th, 11/9, like Genesis 11:9. And again, the Holy Bible 201, 2 towers became 0, became 1. Not to plug myself, but the last book I put out, Number Games 9/11 to Coronavirus, it's about the 201s connecting COVID and 9/11 and the greater pattern throughout history. I'm finishing up a book right now that's going to be real short, but it's all about 201 and the Illuminati and why they use this number and why they continue to use this number. Just with all the recent mass shootings, just to fill you in with this. So, okay, let's actually start right here. New York City, April 12th this year, we get a story of a shooting blamed on a black man, which is pretty rare for mass shootings. They're not usually black shooters. They're usually younger white men, but you get a black shooter who supposedly targeted people in a subway station underground. And April 12th is the anniversary date of the American Civil War. So you have an underground shooting in a subway, like Underground Railroad, okay? That's the 102nd day of the year, the reflection of 201. So then you have a shooting in Buffalo, which is where Harriet Tubman ran the Underground Railroad through. Harriet Tubman in gematria equals 201, and Cicely Tyson, who played her as an actress, died on the eve of Harriet Tubman's 201st birthday in recent history. For people who remember the death of Cicely Tyson. Yeah. And that, remember, they were going to put Harriet Tubman on the $20 bill. They were going to put Harriet Tubman on the 20. And then Steve Mnuchin, who goes to Skull and Bones, he came out and said, oh, we're going to delay that project for 8 years. And it's like, 8 years, man, that's a long delay. But then the news story came days later that George Floyd got busted with a counterfeit 20, which led to his death. And George Perry Floyd in gematria equals 201, like his baby mama's name, Roxy Washington, equals 201. They compared his beating to Lamar Ferguson, which equals 201, like Michael Brown equals 201, where Black Lives Matter jumped off at. But a lot of people missed this with George Floyd. His killing was compared to Adama Traore's killing in Paris, France, where the Jesuits are from, which happened on the 201st day of 2016, exactly 201 weeks before George Floyd was killed. And in Europe, they protested the names George Floyd and Adama Traore together, who are both huge 201 rituals. And then all the Confederate statues came down after George Floyd, including the Albert Pike statue in D.C., the only Confederate war general to have a statue in D.C. His statue came down on Juneteenth, the day the slaves were freed. And then a year later, we celebrated the first Juneteenth federal holiday. But from the day that the Albert Pike statue came down to the day of the Capitol insurrection, where the Confederate flag flew, that was 201 days later. And if you run the alphabetic order in reverse, the word Confederate alone is 201. And again, all of this symbolism they're doing in all these mass shootings, so much white supremacy. This year on the anniversary of Memorial Day, there was supposedly a mass shooting in Charleston, which is where the Memorial Day holiday comes out of, the Civil War, and then a mass shooting on that day. And then on the 4th, in the land of Lincoln, the Civil War president, we got a shooting that brings all these elements in that are dividing people, from him being a cross-dresser to his religion to, again, they're trying to tear us apart right now. But going back to that Buffalo shooting, that shooting happened on Hillary Clinton's 201st day of her age. And why does Hillary Clinton matter to the Buffalo shooting? Because she cut the ribbon on the store the day it was opened, which was on O.J. Simpson's birthday. And people forget that O.J. Simpson was used as this racially divisive operation back in the 90s. Go back and look at the day they found the O.J. Simpson crime scene and that news began. It was June 13th, the day leaving 201 days left in the year. On the day leaving in 201 days, the O.J. Simpson saga began. Then you got this white supremacist shooting synced up with OJ's birthday, like we were talking about earlier, on Hillary's 201st day of her age. Then from there, the next shooting's in Uvalde, where Matthew McConaughey's the big star, and Matthew McConaughey ends up holding up the green Converse in the White House. But that shooting was 201 days after Matthew McConaughey's birthday. Green Converse equals 201. Here's the thing about forwards and backwards with gematria. Green Converse equals 201 forwards and 150 in reverse. This matters because a lot of things equal 201 forwards, 150 in reverse, including heliocentrism. But they say the sun is 150 million kilometers away on average, 150 million kilometers. The word Illuminati, when you run the alphabetic order in reverse, is 150. It matters that it's 120 forwards Illuminati. That's how long people live in the Genesis, 120 years. Illuminati 120. These Illuminati types living longer than the average people. And if you add 1 through 15 together, it adds up to 120. 120 is the 15th triangular number. Illuminati 120. The Illuminati was founded on the first day of the 5th month, 1-5. Skull and Bones, which is part of the Illuminati network, allows 15 members per year. But again, Matthew McConaughey holds up the green condors, which equal 201 and 150. The shooting was 201 days after his birthday. The shooting was 150 days before his upcoming birthday. And then the funny thing is he was 52 years old, and they've been talking about how he wants to get into politics. In Gematria, White House equals 52. So does president. So does government. So does authority. So you got Matthew McConaughey holding up the clean green sneaks, while the green Converse Celtics, where Converse is headquartered in Boston, they're going down in the NBA Finals at the same time. But hold on, coming back to just 201s. So then the next mass shooting was on the anniversary of the Tulsa race riots in Tulsa at St. Francis Hospital, when we're in the time of the first Jesuit Pope, Pope Francis. That shooting was 201 days after the Superior General's birthday. Then you had a mass shooting on Pentecost Sunday at St. Francis Church. When you spell out Pentecost Sunday, it even equals 201. And then we predicted there'd be another mass shooting on June 9th, synced up with Biden, because it was 201 days after Biden's birthday. And then you had a shooting at Columbia Machine. And you think District of Columbia, 201 days after Biden's birthday, while he's saying there's going to be gun reform. So again, there's a lot more to all of this, but understanding 201, you can understand why Event 201 was really called that, especially when it was put on by a Jesuit, Klaus Schwab, and co-hosted by William Henry Gates, who's Bill Gates. And of course, William Henry Gates equals 201, Bill Gates' full name. You had Jeff Bezos get in the vaccine distribution business, who's up there with Bill Gates. And God, there's a lot to it, but Jeff Bezos.
I want to take us through this because I don't want to rush through all of it, because I really want to dive into each one of these. What I want to do is ask you, who do you think is planning each one of these things? Is there a guy? Is there a group? I understand it's Illuminati, and I understand that it's Jesuits, because it's like I get a lot of shit from friends and people who don't agree with me about my belief that, the Jesuits are really in control of a lot of stuff. And this fits into exactly what I'm talking about, what I really do believe. I think you get in the CIA, Mossad, MI6 or MI5. They're all Jesuit ran. They're just like, they're just different offices in different parts of the world, being ran by the same people. That's my humble opinion. And some people don't like that, and that's okay. That's life. But where do you think this all, is there, when there's a shooting, right? Let's say, pick any of these shootings. Let's say the school shooting in Texas. Is it your belief that they have somebody in mind, and they pull some MK Ultra stuff, and they send them in, and they wake up and they don't know what they were doing through pharmaceuticals, messages, and some people might think video games or music or television or the internet. I'm not saying how it go. I don't have a clue about that. What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, yeah, great question. So to use Uvalde as an example, hold on, there's a lot to answer there. Let me backtrack. Okay, so again, the Jesuits have been building their network since the 16th century. And again, if you look into the intelligence agencies of the world, the Jesuit numbers are all over all of them. So you're 100% right about that. For all the people who blame Israel on everything, understand this: State of Israel equals 201. And so does Jerry Seinfeld. Since you're in the comedy business, Jerry Seinfeld's 201. The last day of Seinfeld, the last live episode, was on Israel's 50th birthday. And David Ben-Gurion, who declared it a nation, he died 201 days after the anniversary of its establishment, kind of like Adam Weishaupt. For the record, I just got to say, Israel was created on May 14th, 14/5, not arbitrarily. The word Catholic equals 145 when you don't use numerology. There's 145 more chapters in the Catholic Old Testament than Protestant Old Testament. when you use numerology, Catholic equals 46, like there's 46 books in the Catholic Old Testament as opposed to 39 in the Protestant. So they create it on 14/5 after drawing it up on 3/9 in the year prior. And again, they're tributes to the language. So again, the Jesuits, they've been a lot bigger at other parts in history. That their network is actually a lot smaller now than it used to be a century ago. And I think it's because you don't need as many people at this day and age. We have machines and computers and now AI. I honestly think that if you look into the history of the Jesuits, they are all in technology. They are all in science. These are very advanced, intelligent people. And they've literally built this world around us. I mean, you start looking at all the big tech companies, Jesuit fingerprints everywhere. Sundar Pichai equals 201, the face of Google, to make a long story short. But again, they could have like an AI that's literally writing the script. I mean, I think we all understand that we live in a world. It really doesn't matter what for most jobs, it doesn't really exactly matter what your job is, but you're kind of getting a list of things that you're supposed to do for the day. You're following instructions. We see how the entire news media is getting talking points and everyone's talking about the same news everywhere. So if there's let's just say there's a central computer that's planned out. Again, for people who don't understand that things are being planned out, let me just say this real quick before I follow my thought. 1968, I know we talked about this last time. In 1968, World Trade Center construction began. 911 was made the national emergency dialing code. George W. Bush graduated from Yale and Skull and Bones. Boeing debuted their jumbo jetliner. The Quran code was discovered. The New York Jets had their only Super Bowl winning season. Then 33 years later, all these things come together through 9/11. 2001, A Space Odyssey came out in 68. But anyway, we're living out agendas that were planned long ago. And the whole Roe versus Wade is a perfect example of how long agendas are planned out. But somewhere, some way, somebody is doing all this planning. It could be done by men, but at this day and age, it could also be planned out by computers. And then, that day that the instruction comes for the shooting to be in this place, or this story to be this on this day, or this, this law to be overturned or transformed on this day, or for these buildings to come down on this day. All of this could ultimately be planned by an AI and executed by men who are following instructions from whoever they take instructions from, whoever pays their salary, what have you. So, I mean, I could speculate on that all day. But again, if you look into the history of the Jesuits, they used to be a lot bigger. They've slimmed down in recent decades. They're still a massive network of tens of thousands of people. But less people now makes me think that a lot more stuff is automated these days. So that's my thought.
Okay.
Whoa.
Oh, did you want to say something?
No, I was just, he was saying that basically AI is basically running gematria in a weird kind of way, right?
It seems like it's very possible. It seems that way. If you guys, there's programs out there right now where if you write one sentence and you tell the AI you need it to write you 8 paragraphs based on that one sentence, it'll write out, like if I write I love gematria, it will write 8 sentences based on what it can pull from the internet about what I would likely say, and it looks pretty coherent. It might even look better how you would actually write the essay. So AI has gotten very advanced. It's able to pull from all this information in the world and put together coherent thoughts. So we're deep in the game.
Okay, so real quick, we just got to do a quick ad right here.
Guys, we've seen so many people making ridiculous money from crypto. But did you know that it's easy for you to do the same? The Copy My Crypto membership site shows you the coins that YouTuber James McMahon personally holds and allows you to copy him. It's like having a big brother who knows what he's doing. You don't need to know a thing about crypto or how to invest. You simply do what he does. So let me tell you about James. He runs the Crypto with James YouTube channel, which despite heavy censorship has over 17,000 subscribers and 1 million views. Since March 2020, he's told his viewers to buy 26 crypto coins. Had you put $100 into each one, it would now be worth more than $53,000. Of the 26 coins, his top pick of the year, a coin called Phantom, is currently up over 440 times from when he named it. That one call alone has retired a number of people, including guys in their 20s and 30s. Remember, this is public knowledge. You can go to YouTube and verify it yourself. So if you'd like to join the 1,300 members who copy James, then stop what you're doing and head over to copymycrypto.com/TFH. You'll not only find proof of everything I've said here, but our listeners can get full access for just $1. You won't find this offer anywhere else, but act fast because it ends soon. That's copymycrypto.com james.com/TFH. That's TFH. Don't take this offer lightly. James is the real deal. Go visit the site now.
Enjoy that. Okay. So that was uncomfortable. You can clean that up, right, Johnny? Yeah. Write that time down. So I want to ask you a question. Do you think this basically says that maybe we live in a simulation? Do you believe in that at all? Like the simulation theory?
Again, I'm an open-minded person. That's entirely possible. It does seem that we have, I mean, the hard thing about accepting that is it would make it seem that we can't change the outcome we're in. We're in a simulation and it's going to play out the way it's going to play out. Ultimately, here's my real response to that. In a way, we are, because the powers that shouldn't be, as I like to call them, they are moving forward an agenda that they have planned out. And they're doing it just by this code, exactly like I'm explaining to you, day after day, and they're pulling right from the Bible. Just the other day, you guys might have saw on June 28th, the big international headline about how a human-flavored veggie burger won a big award. Well, what's funny is 628, the verse in the Bible that's about cannibalism, that's very specific about a family eating somebody's child, is in 2 Kings 6:28. And then on 6:28, we're reading about the cannibal burger. Again, we are being mocked by this gang every single day. But again, because most people are totally asleep and they're just going along with the programming and the expectation of, go to school, get your slave job, pay taxes, and they're not really resisting anything. They're just going along to get along. It's like I feel like if everyone would stop doing that, the simulation would break. So I think that the simulation is breakable, to make a long story short.
I think personally, I mean, like, look at these shootings that have happened. Look at even when Trump was in the Iranian war, they tried to get us into with they shot down our drone and all that crazy stuff. And, all the way up to these shootings that just don't seem to be resonating with the impact emotionally that they used to. I think it's because the mechanism in which they put out propaganda is no longer functionable. That it doesn't work. Nobody watches CNN. Nobody watches MSNBC. Everybody knows these blue check marks. Half of them aren't even real on Twitter. So it's real hard for them to get this information out. What are your thoughts on that? And then I want to go through some specific events and get your take on them. Okay. But what are your thoughts on that? I just feel like, they're moving forward with their agenda, and I just don't think it's resonating like it used to.
Yeah, and I think it has a lot to do with this too, because everyone's just like constantly distracted in the moment and, short attention spans. Their agenda is still being fulfilled, though. It's like had there not been televisions, there would have been no COVID-19 pandemic. If we didn't all have TVs and radios and papers, none of us would have realized anything was different. They locked down the nation over dead elderly people in a nursing home. And what else is new? And, it's just like, so the propaganda is still definitely steering us. And, right now, so many people are protesting even in this little small town about the Roe versus Wade decision, and people don't see the way they're being played. For the record, with regards to 201, the name of that case that got Roe versus Wade overturned, Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health Organization, whatever it is, equals 201. And don't forget, Stephen Breyer announced he was retiring earlier this year, 201 days before his birthday. And then they nominated Ketanji Brown Jackson 201 days before her upcoming birthday. And then you have Dobbs Jackson to overturn Roe versus Wade. Then you're watching the news and you're seeing bar graphs and stats about how Black women will be the most impacted from the Roe versus Wade reversal. And then right after Jackson versus Dobbs, we get our first Black female Supreme Court justice, Jackson. And the decision was one day before the anniversary of Michael Jackson's death, which is also kind of interesting. And again, there's a lot more to say about the gematria piece, but the 201's all over the overturning the Roe versus Wade. And there's a bunch of things to explain about it. But again, even though that people's attention's not held and we've become desensitized to the nonstop mass shootings and propaganda, people are still being steered, though. I mean, everyone's still voting for the rigged elections. Everyone's still going along with whatever the authority says when it's time to go along with something. So people are definitely still hooked into the programming. Most people still aren't looking into truth. And things are definitely a lot worse now than they were the last time we met 3 years ago, which isn't a surprise to the people in my community. I was saying why 2020 was going to be a really bad year for many years in advance, because it was 19 years after 9/11. The gematria of chaos is 19. The motto of the Jesuits and the Masons is order out of chaos. The moon's on a 19-year cycle. The sun is the 19th card in the tarot deck. And the Roman way of spelling Jesus, Jesus, equals 19 in gematria, which makes sense. The Son of God, the sun in the sky, everything being synced up with the Catholic Church worshiping on Sunday. But again, 19-year cycles. And with regards to 19-year cycles, look at this. 1963 is, I think, the year that they began the War on Courage. That was with the assassination of JFK, which kicked off the 60s, which was full of assassinations of major people. And my parents were growing up in that age, and they all kind of learned the same thing. If you speak out, you might get your head knocked off. So maybe don't do that. So I think 63 was the War on Courage. 19 years later was 1982. That's the year the War on Drugs began. 1982, which is another war on personal freedom. And then 2001 is the War on Terror, where what really happened is they started building a surveillance state. It was a war on our rights and liberties, and a war against the Fourth Amendment and the right to not have to be tracked and surveillanced by the state. Then what happens 19 years later? The War on Germs. And what comes out of the War on Germs? More giving up of rights and liberties. The sacrifices of people's mom and pop stores while Walmart and Amazon get bigger. And by the way, Jeff Bezos, he went to the moon on the he went to space, I should say, on the anniversary of the moon landing, the 201st day of the year. The first man to walk on the moon, Neil Alden Armstrong, 201 to go with the 201st day of the year. Jeff Bezos is doing it on the anniversary of the moon while they're calling the COVID-19 vaccine the moonshot. And again, he just got in the vaccine distribution business. And he just put out the show on his streaming service, Utopia, about billionaires depopulating the world with a virus and a vaccine meant to sterilize and get rid of 95% of the population. He put out that show as a remake, all this stuff at the same time. And I can tell you even more about it. Again, forwards and backwards. Order of Illuminati's 201s forwards. It's 258 in reverse. When Jeff Bezos put out the remake of Utopia, it was his 258th day of his age. Like how his Seattle buddy, Bill Gates, who got into the vaccine business, he started his vaccine alliance on the 258th day of his age, July 12th, 1999. And his dad died on the 258th day of the year in 2020, the leap year. So again, you learn these ciphers, forwards and backwards. You see how these rituals work. Event 201, co-hosted by Bill Gates, whose full name equals 201s forwards, 258 in reverse. Him and Bezos are doing all this vaccine stuff about depopulation with 258. Go back and listen to what Bill Gates said in 2010, 2010, at his TED Talk. He says it real cute like this. He says, the world's population right now is 6.8 billion. That's heading up to 9 billion. If we do a good job with vaccines, reproductive services, and healthcare, we can reduce that by 10 to 15%. He talked about how we can reduce the population by 10 to 15%, and he lead it off with vaccines. And you have to understand his dad, Bill Gates Sr., is one of the co-founders of Planned Parenthood. The second thing in there was reproductive services, what Planned Parenthood's known for. Again, he's born into a legacy, Bill Gates. His birthday is the same day as Jonas Salk's birthday. Look this up in history. October 28th, 1956. Elvis Presley got the polio vaccine on live TV. Bill Gates celebrated his first birthday, and Jonas Salk, who is credited with the polio vaccine, he celebrated his 42nd birthday that day. 42nd birthday, exactly 42 weeks after Elvis's birthday. In gematria, vaccine equals 42. The COVID vaccine ended up going live on Bill Gates' 42nd day of his age. And I could tell you a million more things, but the point is you learn this number code. You see how they got their 201 court jesters out there all over the place.
Why Elvis?
Chess with us.
Why Elvis?
Why Elvis?
Did you say Elvis?
So check this out. Yeah, Elvis. Elvis's breakout year was 56. Elvis got the polio vaccine on live TV in 56, October 28th. And that was his breakout year. He recorded for Sun Record Studios. Think about the Jesuits. Their logo's the sun. Everything's sun-based. When Elvis died, the girlfriend that was with him, I forget what her name is, but the young girl that was with Elvis, her name equals 201. That's probably who did him in. And here's the thing, too. You know Tom Hanks? He was the first celebrity to get the virus. Tom Hanks, who's in the Da Vinci Code series about the Illuminati and the Catholic Church. The movie Inferno, which is about a billionaire depopulating the world with a virus, that came out on Bill Gates' birthday. That came out October 28, 2016 on Bill Gates' birthday. And that movie's 2 hours and 1 minute long, 2:01. When Tom Hanks got sick with COVID, the first celebrity, he put out the Instagram post about how he was losing to his wife in gin rummy, and he was losing by 201 points. In Catch Me If You Can, he nearly catches Leonardo DiCaprio in room 201. He keeps saying it over and over, room 201, room 201, room 201 to remember it. And then he almost gets him and he gets away. In Saving Private Ryan about World War II, he gets killed on June 13th, the day leaving 201 days left in the year. And his character name equals 164, like it's the 164th day of the year. Steven Spielberg did both those movies. Steven Spielberg also did War of the Worlds, which begins with a blackout in Ukraine. That movie debuted on June 13th, the day leaving 201 days left in the year. Again, Spielberg did Catch Me If You Can. He did Saving Private Ryan. He did War of the Worlds. All these movies pay tribute to 201. And two of them have a lot to do with World War. Again, that they're hinting that Russia-Ukraine could be the start of World War III. Again, it started in a big 201 ritual with Biden and Putin. It's been all about 201 all through it. Why does War of the Worlds start with Ukraine and a blackout, especially when Klaus Schwab, who's the main guy behind Event 201, he's also doing the cyber polygon simulations about big blackouts and international hacking. Again, we're living out a planned agenda. You're down in LA. When they put out the preview for the season of 911 Los Angeles, where the blackout happens in LA, that preview launched on July 20th, the 201st day of the year. The preview for the blackout in LA. Then right after that happened, if you go back and watch that preview, they play the Rolling Stones song, Paint It Black. Right after that preview broke, Charlie Watts, the drummer for the Rolling Stones, died. Charlie Watts, energy, electricity. Paint It Black was the song on the 201st day. He's dead just a few days later in the headlines. And again, we predicted that we predicted in our community that there would be blackouts on Valentine's Day 2021. That's when Houston got it the worst. Portland got it the second worst. Atlanta got some of it. Blackouts all over the nation, but it was out for a week in Portland and Houston. We predicted why there would be blackouts on that day based on the Public Enemy album, What You Gonna Do When the Grid Goes Down, which shows Arizona on the cover. Arizona's birthday is Valentine's Day, and that day was 322 days after Klaus Schwab's birthday. Notice what happened in Houston when the power went out, in the great refining city, when the Great Reset and Event 201 and Agenda 21, all this stuff has to do with carbon emissions. Again, to rewind you guys, Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, if you don't know about these things, look them up. They were the agreements by world leaders to curb carbon emissions in this century. Agenda 21, everybody signed off on Agenda 21 on June 13th, the day leaving 201 days left in the year. Then Event 201 comes and they said the silver lining of coronavirus was it got us more in line with the Agenda 21 goals. Agenda 2030 ended on the anniversary of the Jesuits being recognized by Rome. And again, there's a lot to say about all this stuff, but again, you just follow the trail, you see what's being done. The predictive programming makes way more sense. Again, a utopia is about billionaires depopulating the world with a virus and a vaccine. That show came out September 25th, which is the day that Utopia came out on September 25th, which is the day in history that Agenda 2030 began. It's also the day in history that JFK gave a speech on weather control, which happens to be a phrase that equals 201. This year on June 13th, Yellowstone got wasted on the day leaving 201 days left in the year when weather controls 201. And if you go back and look at the first act of admitted weather warfare in the world, it was August 15th, which is the Jesuit order's birthday. And that's also the day in history that Albert Pike wrote his letter about 3 world wars, August 15th. Last year, Afghanistan's government fell on August 15th. The year before that, Donald Trump, who's Jesuit educated, his brother died on August 15th. Again, there's dates, there's numbers that matter a lot to these people. And if you learn them, you'll see through the ritual. Sorry, Sam, I know you're trying to say something.
Is this international? Like let's say I'm watching Mexican news and it's a Chapo gets captured. Is there going to be 32s? Is there going to be 201 and all that?
Yes, 100%. Here, one of the nastiest examples, just Again, English, those Georgia Guidestones, it says unite the world in a new living language. I'm pretty sure whatever's on the Georgia Guidestones was really written back in the 16th century. I'm pretty sure the new living language is English. Why did we need a new language in the 16th century? There were already a million to choose from. But they synced up the calendar and the language, and our entire history is by the numbers from going back then up to now. But here, look how brutal this is. Captain Tom in the UK, he got knighted on July 17th. He died exactly 201 days later on the 33rd day of 2021. Captain Tom was known for the Burma campaign. That's where George Orwell wrote his first book about the Burma campaign. But, okay, Captain Tom was known for the Burma campaign. He dies 201 days after getting knighted and 1 day after Burma's government fell to its military, and its government was established on the same Jesuit birthday. You'll be amazed. So it's so obvious that was a Jesuit ritual. Plus, they said he died from COVID-19. Well, here's what's sick about that. He died 56 days after the first person in the world got vaccinated for COVID. That was Maggie Keenan in the UK. And they said the second person to be vaccinated was William Shakespeare, if you can believe that. But from the day they got vaccinated to the day Captain Tom died was 56 days later. If you read the book Burmese Days by George Orwell, his first book, the first number he mentions is right at the beginning of the book. He mentions the number 56. And he's part of the Fabian Society, which is related to the Jesuits. But in gematria, coronavirus equals 56, COVID vaccines 56, Burma campaigns 56, Society of Jesus is 56. They're from Paris, France. Paris, France is 56. Washington, D.C. is 56. Anthony Fauci's 56. Mind control's 56. Govern the mind, governmental, control the mind. Remember how the toilet paper crisis at the beginning of COVID, toilet paper equals 56. I was like, how do people think there's going to be a toilet paper shortage over COVID? This doesn't even make sense. We are being played with.
Where does George Floyd or the riots fit in?
Black Lives Matter equals 56. Their motto is I can't breathe. They said George Floyd tested positive for COVID in his autopsy, while Black Lives Matter is chanting I can't breathe and COVID attacks the lungs. Gavin Newsom, the first governor to lock down his state, California, saying 56% of COVID will get, or he said 56% of California will get COVID in 8 weeks. 8 weeks is 56 days, 56%. Gavin Newsom equals 56, like Society of Jesus. Tom Hanks, the first celebrity with the virus, born in 56. Donald Trump's Jesuit education began in 64, 56 years before 2020, the year of the COVID pandemic. Andrew Cuomo, Jesuit educated, the 56th governor of New York, who is very much the face of the pandemic on national TV every day at all corners of the nation. The first mayor to deal with COVID was Jenny Durkin in Seattle, the 56th mayor of the city. The second mayor was Lori Lightfoot in Chicago, the 56th mayor. Tom Hanks, Sleepless in Seattle. He starts out in Chicago. His wife dies from a virus. Then he moves to Seattle. And again, he's born in 56, first celebrity with the virus. He played Forrest Gump, who taught Elvis Presley. Remember how Forrest Gump teaches Elvis Presley how to dance because Forrest Gump has polio. People started getting the polio vaccine in 56. Tom Hanks. If you look up the gematria, the actor they got to play Elvis Presley, for anyone out there who's a skeptic, look up the actor they got to play Elvis Presley and Forrest Gump, and you'll see that actor's name equals 56. And I'm telling you, the same people that run Hollywood run your nightly news, your government. It's the Jesuit, Masonic, Illuminati alliance, and they're mocking us all the way to the bank. And really, that's what it's all about, because they keep sucking up more and more of our wealth, controlling more and more of the pie. And like Klaus Schwab said, by 2030, you're going to have nothing and like it. And
let me ask you something. I want to go through these events you've sent us. Waco. Can you tell us a little bit about Waco?
Indeed. Okay. So Waco happened on April 19th, and then Timothy McVeigh blew up the federal building on April 19th, supposedly in retaliation. So what April 19th is in history is that's the day Ignatius of Loyola became the first superior general of the Jesuits, who are a military order. So Ignatius of Loyola equals 201 in gematria, like the Jesuit order, like Order Illuminae, like we've been talking about. 201, April 19th. So you have the Waco incident. Okay. Order of Illuminati equals 201. When you use numerology, it equals 93. Waco happens in 93. Remember, heliocentrism equals 201. They say the sun is 93 million miles away on average. These numbers come together a lot. God, by the way, Alec Baldwin, his birthday is the 93rd day of the year. You might have forgot, but the day that Brandon Lee got killed on the set of The Crow, He was buried on Alec Baldwin's birthday, the 93rd day of the year in 93. Bruce Lee, who died while filming Game of Death. For anyone who's never seen Game of Death, go watch that movie. Bruce Lee gets killed in the movie the same way Brandon Lee gets killed on the set of The Crow. And Bruce Lee was killed on the 201st day of the year, July 20th, the 201st day of the year. From Baldwin shooting the woman 201 days after his birthday to that was also 93 days after the anniversary of Brandon Lee's death. Or not Brandon, excuse me, 201 days after the anniversary of Bruce Lee's death, Alec Baldwin shot the woman 201 days after his own birthday. 201-93, the 93 World Trade Center bombing, the towers went from 2 to 0 to 1. These numbers come together a lot. When Forbes said Jeff Bezos was the richest man in the world, they said he was worth $201 billion as of September 3rd, is how they wrote in the article, as of 9/3. So Waco's 93, right? Then in 95, now realize the Jesuits' original purpose was to counter the 95 Theses. It's why they were recognized by Rome on the day leaving 95 days left in the year. But then in 95, you get the federal building bombing by Timothy McVeigh in retaliation for Waco. In Gematria, Timothy McVeigh equals 201. His accomplice, Terry Lynn Nichols, equals 201. The same day that Oklahoma City blew up, the state put Richard Snell to death. Richard Snell equals 201. He tried to blow up the same building in 83. And the story was he was going crazy in his prison cell that day, screaming to everybody that he knew the building was going to blow up on that day. Look up all this. It's all facts. Richard Snell was in prison for trying to blow up the same building in 83. He's screaming all day that they're going to blow it up today. And then they blew it up. And he got put to death the same day. And then they said all of them got radicalized in Arkansas. At the time, Bill Clinton was the president from Arkansas, who's Jesuit educated. And they said they all got radicalized in Arkansas at a white supremacist camp ran by Robert G. Millar. They put his middle initial in there. Again, G's like the Masonic logo too. Robert G. Millar, which equals 201. And what's amazing is if you go to the Oklahoma City Memorial, just behind the memorial on the same campus is the Masonic Lodge. And if you look up and read about it, it says that building was sold for $201,000. And it's right behind where the bomb went off in the huge 201 ritual on April 19th. Now, April 19th is also the day in history that the Revolutionary War began. And what day did the Revolutionary War end in history? It ended on 9/3, 201-93, Order of Illuminati, from Alec Baldwin's joke with the Ukrainian woman synced up with Bruce Lee and Brandon Lee to the World Trade Centers to, oh, by the way, Wuhan coronavirus equals 93, which came right after the Event 201 simulation. Again, you learn the number combinations and you just realize it all makes sense. Again, in the 16th century, they gave us the language, the calendar, the heliocentric model, and all of these rituals are synced up with the language and the date, and it's the same stuff worldwide, that the same number patterns are going on worldwide. Again, it's just like the Jesuit history. They were saved in Russia by Catherine the Great with 201. The same thing's going on all over the world.
Well, 93's Aleister Crowley's number.
Absolutely, Thelema.
The Thelema. So that's big, and which gets us into 9/11. There's a lot of numbers involved in 9/11. Can you get into any of that?
So again, we might have covered this in the past, but here's the simplest thing to blow people's mind with 9/11. Don't even start with numbers. Say, okay, think about it. Manhattan Project to develop big bombs, right? The word ground zero came out of the Manhattan Project. It was the point above or below ground where a nuclear or atomic bomb exploded. And it started with the Manhattan Project. Now, at the same time the 93 World Trade Center bombing happened, Bill Clinton was the president, and he stopped the underground weapons testing program that had been going on for nearly 50 years. So he stopped it at that same time. And
who stopped it?
Bill Clinton.
Really?
And a lot of people don't realize this, but Bill Clinton was not born into the Clinton family. He was born William Jefferson Blythe. His biological father died May 17th, 46. His biological father died 3 months before he was born. His mother married into the New York Clinton family. So you see that they raised this boy that it was bloodline to the mother, but not the actual Clintons. And then, in New York, where the Clintons are from, the year he becomes president, ooh, the building blows up. What are the odds? And also, right. So what's funny is if you write out atomic bomb, it equals 93. And the last guy who dropped the bomb on Hiroshima, he ended up dying at 93. There's a lot to say about that. But the point is, ground zero goes with the Manhattan Project. And after
Damn,
that 50 years
dude,
of
that's
testing,
crazy. I'm sorry, dude. So you're saying ground zero has to do with a bomb?
yes.
And what does everybody say happened to those buildings? They were detonated.
Right.
Hey, we got atomic bomb was 93. Is this a good place to do gematria, or where would you recommend?
Yeah, absolutely. You see the 177 up there? Write out the Jesuit order for me. Just write out the Jesuit
good luck.
order.
I'll spell that for
Yeah, can you spell it out for me?
The THE Jesuit JESUIT S. No W. SUIT.
SUIT.
Order. ORDER. Okay, so you see these numbers?
Yeah.
So I'll just show you how all of this worked when Breyer retired. When Breyer retired, he announced he was retiring 201 days before his 84th birthday. And his birthday happens to be August 15th, which is also the Jesuit order's birthday. And then it was, he waited a series of days, and then he did another announcement, and it was like 177 days from his last birthday. And it was like on a 69 date numerology, but you'll see so often. Do me a favor real quick, just to show people this. Type in African American. I want to talk about Ketanji Brown Jackson real quick. African American. Okay, so she became the 116th Supreme Court Justice. She was sworn in exactly 289 days after her September 14th birthday. And her name, Ketanji Brown Jackson, equals 71 in the same cipher as African American, also like Kamala Devi Harris. And we get the first black woman in the Oval Office, and then the first black Supreme Court justice. And again, Jackson, right after the Roe versus Wade Jackson thing. But you'll see when you learn these ciphers forwards and backwards, you'll see how often the numbers are used perfectly in the ritual and how many of the ciphers come together. So if you type in ground zero, you'll see that it equals 127 in one of the ciphers. Now, remember, they called 9/11 the new Pearl Harbor. They called 9/11 the new Pearl Harbor. That happened on December 7th, Pearl Harbor. 127. On 9/11, buildings 1, 2, and 7 fell in Manhattan. In Manhattan, buildings. And 127 is the 31st prime number. 31 is the 11th prime number, bringing us back to 11, the master number. And again, 9/11 on the 11th day of the month in the 11th state, flight AA11 in the building. The World Trade Centers look like an 11. And again, 11 years to the day of George H.W. Bush giving his speech about a new world order. You want to blow your mind? Look up the date, July 6th, 1946. That was the day the first meeting was ever held in New York history to discuss building a World Trade Center in the city. July 6, 1946. That's the exact same day George W. Bush was born, who was the president when 9/11 happened.
Damn.
It's crazy.
It's all connected.
If you write out Osama bin Laden, it equals 110 the simple way. Buildings 1 and 2 were 110 stories tall. And with numerology, it equals 47. Building 7 was 47 floors tall, each floor 47,000 square feet. And again, all these words equal 47. Government, authority, president, White House, Republican, Democrat, DC, Vatican, Francis, France. DC was laid out by a French Freemason. The Jesuits came to power. The Jesuits were created in France. The Scottish Rite came to power in France. Again, Trump equals 47. You just saw what they did on 4-7. The word foundations, 47. Again, 47 is a number of time and authority. The word time is 47. The word beast is 47. Christians, 47. The Christian teaching about the number of the beast. There's a reason for all of this. There's a reason they worship these numbers. They have meaning. It all goes back to Hebrew in the Bible. And 4 has a mathematical relationship with 7. The divisors of 4 add to 7. 7's the 4th prime number, the 4th book of the Bible's numbers. God makes the world in 7 days. In Hebrew gematria, Elohim, the name for God in the Torah, equals 47. So essentially through this code, again, Kabbalah, where this whole code of letters and numbers comes from, it says God created the world with the number, the letter, the word, and the book of formation. These people are playing God and creating a simulation, really. So your thing about simulation theory, I do agree. But I feel like these, and if there is, about there being entities above the Jesuits and human beings, I'll put it this way. In 1947, the Roswell incident happened in New Mexico, the 47th state. Now, most people never notice this, but both Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos both started their companies in New Mexico, and they both moved them up to Seattle on the 47th parallel, a city known for the Space Needle with the UFO, like Roswell in 47. When Bill Gates opened his Microsoft campus in Redmond, a suburb of Seattle, he did it on the 47th day of the year, February 16th. And again, this is a very special number to the cabal. And again, the movie They Live, if you've ever seen They Live, where Roddy Piper puts on the glasses and then all of a sudden he sees a whole other world, that movie came out 201 days after Roddy Piper's birthday. He ended up dying on the anniversary of Ignatius of Loyola's death. And his infamous tweet from September 27th, that's the day the Jesuits were recognized by Rome, he said, "They Live is a documentary." And very Jesuit all the way around, not to mention the enemy of that movie is Cable 54, and Jesuit order equals 54, like son. I know it's a lot of numbers, but you learn the language of these people, you'll see what's going on. It's not an accident that he was born in 54, Roddy Piper, and it's also not an accident that his co-star was born in 56. Jesuit orders 54, Society of Jesus is 56. These numbers come together all the time in their rituals. R.I.P. to Omar from The Wire, who died in a big 54, 56 ritual, but anyway, yeah, go ahead if you got another question.
How about these mass shootings that are happening everywhere? I know you mentioned a couple things here and there, but what's your overall take on, I'm not sitting here telling you that anybody's better than anybody else, but, we had the Parkland shooting, and I think we had Vegas and the Parkland shooting in Trump's day. And then I think a lot of it either didn't get reported on or there wasn't as big as shootings. And now now that Biden's in, we're having shootings every other week. What are your thoughts on all that?
Okay, so check this out. Biden just signed a gun control bill on June 25th, George Orwell's birthday. The majority of the world writes that date 25/6, like 256. It was the biggest gun control bill since the 94 assault weapons ban on the 256th day of the year. So 94 was the 256th day of the year. The latest one's 25/6. If you write out assault weapons ban, it equals 256. That's what happened in 94. But if you write out just Second Amendment, it also equals 256. And essentially, they're undermining the Second Amendment by the numbers. They're doing it ritualistically. This nation began with 56 signers on the Declaration of Independence. When Joe Biden gave his gun control speech, he did it in front of 56 candles. And here's the sick thing about the day that Joe Biden gave his gun control speech. That was game one of the NBA Finals between the Celtics and the Warriors. And Joe Biden's Secret Service name is Celtic. The day that John Havlicek died for the Celtics, that was the exact same day that Joe Biden announced he was running for president. Okay? And John Havlicek wore the number 17 for the Celtics. He died 17 days after his own birthday on the day Biden announced he was running. Now, when Biden gave his speech on gun control on the day of game one of the NBA Finals, it was 17 minutes long, and he concluded it by saying Uvalde will mourn for 17 more days. Plus, he said 17 in regards to a bunch of other shootings. He kept saying 17 in the speech. That night, the Celtics ended up winning their 17th playoff game versus the Warriors all time in a 17-0 run at the end of the game. 17-0 run to win the 17th game. That was on the 153rd day of the year. 153 is the 17th triangular number. NBA equals 17. It's like when LeBron first went from Ohio to LA. We said that day it was 1/7. We said LeBron will win the Lakers their 17th championship in his 17th season. And that's exactly what he did. And at first they said he was on a $153 million contract, which is the 17th triangular number. That means if you had 1 through 17, it equals 153. The word God equals 17. In the Torah, there's 153 mentions of the Tetragrammaton, which goes back to 47. But there's a reason for all these numbers. There's a reason. And you can see how they're speaking a language and they're doing things ritualistically. And like I've been telling you guys for all these years, the sports and the news, they're all synced up. We said at the beginning of this season why either the Warriors or the 76ers would win the finals this year. I wasn't sure. I said it's probably the Warriors since they hardly pay out anything. But we knew it was going to be one of those two teams this year. The Warriors ended up becoming 7-5 in NBA championships in the 75th season. And again, 75, it's a number to explain, but I'll put it this way. It's not an accident the San Francisco 49ers also won the 75th NFL season. And it's not an accident that the Celtics picked up theirs. It was the Warriors. They got their 75th. I got to go back and double check it. I forgot it. There's a huge 75 stat in the NBA Finals on the last game where it got closed out. But again, the sports and the news, it's all being controlled and orchestrated. You got in California, you got the gold and blue Rams winning right before Russia-Ukraine breaks out, and fiance of Sean McVay is Ukrainian. And then you got the Warriors, while a war is brewing, while there's rumors of World War III in the same color scheme, again, wearing the gold and blue just like Ukraine. If you add gold and blue together, it becomes green. A lot of green this year. I didn't wear this today for a reason, but again, a lot of green this year. The heart chakra is green. You got the green Converse and Uvalde. You got the pro-choicers who are all heartbroken over the overturning of Roe versus Wade wearing green. You got the Green New Deal. You got Marjorie Taylor Greene. You got CeeLo Green singing the first game at the NBA Finals that the Green team loses. I got to say, shout out to CeeLo Green if he's out there. He's the only guy in the recording industry who ever shared my work on his own platform. I was actually blown away they did that because I talked about his Goody Mob value from if you guys don't know the song, if you guys have not seen the song or the music video Goody Mob Cell Therapy, go back and listen to that song from 95 in light of what's going on in the world now. But sorry, man, I'm Gentle, and I think I went beyond the answer what you were looking for. But I'm just trying to drop facts.
Is there any more significance to these events during the Olympics or the World Cup? Is there more signs? Do they throw more stuff at us during those times?
So you were just looking at how the Jesuit order equals 177 and 201. And if you go back to the headline, they said that in the U.S., only 177 competitors came out. The rest protested because they weren't happy with China. So absolutely, these numbers are all over the place when you're paying attention. There's a lot of examples. The name Klaus Schwab equals 177. He's the Jesuit who put on Event 201. Again, the Jesuit order is 177 and 201.
Damn, dude, this is crazy. Well, Zach, you blew my mind again. And I mean, dude, wow.
Hey, let me plug something for free real quick. I don't want people to, don't even buy it. Just go out and download my ebook for free, Number Games 9/11 to Coronavirus. This book came out over 2 years ago now. And it was over 2 years ago, but I explained why in the book, how they would wind down the pandemic and the stuff going on in this phase right when the Year of the Tiger came around. And that's exactly what they did. You learn the knowledge I'm talking about. Because we were mentally prepared. We said, this is going to last a long time. They're doing this till the Year of the Tiger comes around, and we knew that for a lot of reasons. Part of it was the numbers.
When is the Year of the Tiger now? When is that? Right now?
The Year of the Tiger began February 1st. February 1st. And
so what's the future hold, in your opinion?
Well, it depends on what humanity. Man, we got to rise up. I'm telling. My whole thing is revolution or bust. Like I think people are too comfortable, man. That they're taking us to a bad spot. They're telling us where they're taking us. By 2030, you'll own nothing and be happy. I don't know if they'll do it that fast, but that's the direction of things. And again, they can price us out of having quality of life if they make food super expensive, energy super expensive, housing super expensive. Imagine that your cooling bill in the winter or in the summer in a hot place goes up to like $800 a month. You won't be able to afford to live in a house anymore. And imagine that the government, they're like, you know what? Because of the earth climate crisis, we got this free subsidized housing or this really inexpensive housing. We'll get you in here. I'm telling you, man, that they want us living in ghettos. They want us living in meta and virtual reality. I can see it, man. And some people might want that world, but I want a world where my life's not being dictated and I'm not told where I have to live and what I have to listen to and what I have to eat. And I'm pretty sure that's the world they're taking us to, total control. So for closing words, I tell people to look into the Protestant Reformation and see if it makes some sense, man, because Martin Luther was saying the Catholic Church, it is hell-bent on controlling the world. Look at the warnings of founders. If we ever had a central bank, what would happen to the nation? Again, there's been a lot of warnings about the things that we're warned about. They are in existence, and they're squeezing us.
I totally agree with that. We just had Susan Bradford on. She was talking a lot about the Jesuits. I mean, I just think that's the power structure, the black nobility, they get us to fight with each other on all this other stuff and never take a look at that stuff. I mean, if you take a look at we talk about it all the time, but if you take a look at all the North American and European crime organizations, they all have a Catholic background, Italians, Latinos, Irish, right? They're all Catholic background. So it's like they run both sides of it. The CIA, Mossad, MI5, all Jesuit order. And then you have all the Catholics running the crime side. And then occasionally they'll bust somebody on the bad side to look like they're doing something, but it's all, they're just running both sides of the game. And that's how it goes.
100%. It's united we stand, divided we fall, and they got us constantly fighting with each other while they rule over us and take more and more from us. So,
Zach, where can they find you, buddy?
I'm on YouTube, Gematria Effect News. I've been deleted 20 sometimes, and it's funny. It's all these years later, and my channel's so much smaller because of how many times I've been deleted. But it's hard to grow at this day and age. But I am on YouTube on Gematria Effect News. I do have a website, gematriaeffect.news. That's my website. You can find all my daily postings there. I'm on Twitter under the same name. I'm on Insta. I don't post on. I should figure out some more platforms to post on more. But I do have an Instagram that I rarely upload to. But if you search Gematria Effect News, you'll find me. You can also look up my name, Zachary K. Hubbard. It's another way to find me. But I do really appreciate it, Sam. And I probably talked too much. I should have let you get a few more in, but I appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem, man. And don't hang up, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. We got some big shows coming up this week. Very excited about all the guests we have this week, so stay tuned. And again, I'm going to be in New Jersey next weekend at my club, The Dojo. I'm sure that's got some numbers behind it, The Dojo of Comedy. I'm sure there's some numbers in that. And then I'm going to be in San Francisco in August. We got, Comedy Chaos again is on July 20th. We got a big lineup for you, so come join us at the Comedy Store. We're trying to get back to 2 shows a night. Come join us. Let's pack it out and get back to rocking and rolling. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We love you very much. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.
We go deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the fountain of knowledge. There's lizard people everywhere. That's some interdimensional shit. Wake up, Aaron.
This is only the beginning.
Dude, you just blew my mind.
Tinfoil hat.